There's nothing like a last-minute Wi-Fi issue to really kick things off and make me sweat. All right, everybody, welcome to a Tuesday edition. Oh, we're just in time!
Perfect timing.
Perfect timing, dude. Mr. Matt Marshall filling in for Kyle Spicka.
What up, dude?
Yes, dude.
What's up, man? Yeah, I saw Kyle. Man. He's like, I'm a little sick. I'm like, everyone's getting sick.
Yeah, everyone's getting sick. Not me. Not me.
Yeah.
Dude.
I'm good.
Yeah, I know. He's like, oh, do you think Maddie's gonna, like, do you think, I don't want to go down there and if I'm sick and, like, I'm like, first of all, it's up to you. Second of all, Maddie doesn't get sick. Maddie's got...
I got some wood, but yeah, I get pretty good. I attribute to drinking out of the gutter and eating dirt when I was a child.
That's absolutely it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Hose water, eating...
Oh, yeah, hose water, definitely Gen X. We grew up as the last generation of feral children. Couldn't come home at some points in time. Yes, the hose was the only option to drink out of, including, the creek and eating all of the... whatever, dude. The little berries. I don't even know. Half the shit was illegal. Berries. Bro, we ate so many just random stuff in the can. Because I grew up on Tecolote Canyon in here in San Diego. And, bro, we just ate, like, all the stuff we weren't supposed to eat. Yeah, you name it. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I think that has something to do with it. But.
That's right. There's all sorts of reasons.
Yeah.
But, strong mind, everything. And, actually, I'm glad that you brought your own beer. Because...
I was going to ask, but, you guys let me down last time. So.
Yeah, I know.
2 times before that, solid.
I thought we had some here. I left the house.
Cheers,
so
everybody.
I just got back from Germany. Welcome, everybody, to another fun Tuesday here at the Spick Span Studios, Doghouse Studios here. Maddie, not Marty, is the man. The T and the R right.
That's
right
the autocorrect. I get that all the time. Even people who know me for 50 years. Not quite. I'm not that old yet.
And I was just in Germany. I got home last night.
Oh, well, yeah. Welcome back to Paradise
Clinic. Thank you. It's still pretty nice out here.
Yeah, it's been glorious.
And I left the house and I had like a 12 or a beer in the fridge, maybe like 6 or 8, somewhere in there, 8 to 12 range. And then I was like, oh no, I don't have any beer for Maddie. I wanted to look in there and they're all gone. Kyle's hurting still a little bit, but he is actually like physically ill, sick, like cough.
Yeah, no, I
talked to him.
Yeah, I talked to him real quick and he's like, oh, sorry, I'm really sick. I'm like,
sorry, UPS, they're asking if you have a package that's for pickup?
No.
No?
Oh, thanks.
Well, they're waiting.
Little cameo from the
little
lady.
Cameo, yeah. Do you have a package for to pick up? No, I actually dropped that off. So I forgot who it is. JT Core accidentally shipped me someone's hoodies. So if you are somewhere in the Midwest, I had your hoodies. They're on the way now, though. They're on the way.
How was Germany?
Dude, it's cool, man.
I love Germany.
Look, we haven't
always had a good time there.
Yeah, and before COVID, we hadn't really traveled a whole lot. Before COVID, even I think maybe the last time I was out in Europe was like maybe 2017.
Yeah, we had a break.
Yeah, so I hadn't been to Europe in a while, and the Paris event was really fun. I know you went to Paris for your engagement.
We've been to Paris so many times. Love Paris. It's funny with the, because a lot of Americans are like, oh, dude, the French are so arrogant. I'm like, bro, we're so arrogant.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah, we sure are.
But big fan of, I had so much good times over there. Had bad times too, but the good times far outweigh the bad. But we had a little bit of a break because, Europe is an interesting scene. I mean, I don't know what you want to get into, but the fact we got Cup's not right now.
Maddie can do the history of literally since the dawn of man until probably knows a little bit about the future also. So the question of where do you want to start with the thing, he can literally tie in why some shop owner, some cafe owner has a problem with Americans dating back to ancient civilization.
I'm a
so
giant
where do
history nerd. What can I say? Definitely. Yeah, you nailed that one for sure. But we did have a little, because we've been going over there since '99 was the first time I went over. We won Toulouse with the Ironman back in the day, and then I played with Joy Division in 2001, and we kind of went all over. Shout out to Joy, they'll be at Cup. That was a crazy adventure, and then because I was that first generation of American mercenaries.
Right.
That's an interesting story. But then. So then you guys started going over, won a bunch of tournaments, and anyway, long story over there with paintball too. But there was a bit of a break because for a while the NXL, and I don't disagree with this decision at all. I think it was actually smart to try to incubate European paintball, but kind of let them have their own thing. We could argue about all that different stuff. I could argue it from the other point too. And Tom didn't want to make that move. Tom grew up with the, dude, it's, 5 dudes with guns, 7 dudes with guns, 10 dudes with guns, whatever, be better. Anyway, but you're right, there was a little bit of a break. But you were one of those, it's like you and Marcelo, and there's a couple other guys on the list, but it's like you and Marcelo as far as miles traveled overall. So it's good to see you getting back over there.
Yeah, and it was fun. It was unfortunately it's the end of their season, right? So a lot of players were like, I don't want to go to a clinic now. Like, paintball season's over. What do I need it for? And so there was like a little bit of discussion about that, I guess. So a bunch of guys were like, nah, I just played the last event. I'm not going to go. I know you have, your thoughts on that. So we had 15 people the first day, and then one person backed out, so 14 people the second day, which is still, it was, those guys got the, weekend of their lives, really, because it was so much one-on-one time. I just finished uploading all the videos. Actually, I want to talk to you about this new format concept I have a little bit later. I only say that because I just uploaded their videos. Someone's like, hey, I didn't get all the videos. Where are they? I'm like, dude, I just landed. Like, give me a minute here.
Yeah.
So,
no, that's like some people started asking me questions about kind of similar, because I got I'm sitting here and analyzing all that. I go back and rewatch all the games, take notes, starting to build content. I got to cut some voiceover actually for the European event, the last one for Project for Go Sports and NXL. But yeah, it just takes a little time, bro. I gotta go back and review all that footage, take notes, and same sort of thing. It takes time. It is interesting though, because I was thinking just real quick on the Germany thing. These are two anecdotal evidence moments here. So that doesn't necessarily make a trend, but I went to teach a clinic in Germany one time, and it was an awesome group of guys, had an amazing adventure over there, and they were just really solid dudes that wanted to learn. But there was 2 other teams there at the time, and they only wanted to play each other, and they only wanted to play like points or games.
Right.
They didn't want to do any sort of situational awareness drills or any real sports training, and it blew my fucking mind, bro. I was like, what? Just similar as you say, oh, it's the end of the season, why would we want to do a clinic? Now, I mean, anytime you get a chance to gather pertinent, the best of the best in the field information on something, like you get a Ryan Greenspan to come, dude, take full advantage of that opportunity. Who cares if it's one day after or one day before? Like, you gotta show up for that if you give a shit about getting better.
Yeah, and I mean, big shout out to everybody who's out there. Torsten is the one who set it up with the local paintball PB Stadium. It was cool. It was an indoor field. It was a little rainy the first day, so we're indoors. It was totally fine. It was great lighting because they had like skylights everywhere. That's one of the two big problems with indoors. One is it's hard to hear and communicate. The other one is lighting. When you don't have natural light, it's harder to see the paintballs.
Feels like a dungeon.
Dude.
Sometimes, depending.
But I've always said, and it's a little bit combined with the whole mentality and ideas and concepts of playing outdoors with the communication side of things. If you can communicate indoors, dude, see you later. You're gonna be leaps and bounds better than everybody else outside.
There are 2 things I would say about that are a benefit. Yes, it is you're at a drastic disadvantage to try to keep accurate conversation when you're in an echo chamber, depending on, again, what type of space are we talking about. But yeah, comms is always kind of a pain in the ass. But the one thing is that it would be like playing the East Coast guys that were diligent about playing all off season. They were really good gunfighters. So, and Joy Division.
Oh, Joy Division, dude.
Yeah, so Joy Division would have a reball facility, and if anyone, I mean, I've never been in Scandinavia in the winter. I really don't want to go to Scandinavia in the winter ever. Even though Scandinavia, other than San Diego, is probably my favorite place on planet Earth, and I would love to go back in the summer because it's light for 20 hours a day. Everyone is amazing. It's great, winter, torture, bro. Dark, 20 hours a day. It's hell no. But you want to train, you get really good at gunfighting, because that's really kind of like, because it's hard to focus on. Because also a lot of times at these indoors, they can't even play like an actual, 5-on-5 back in the day, 7-on-7 type situation. Some of them are small. You can play 5 there, but it's it depends. And it's a blessing to anyone that actually has an indoor facility that's legit, that you can actually talk in and play a 5-on-5 point. It's just tough though. But exactly, dude. If you can communicate when everyone's shooting their guns in an enclosed space and you can't hear yourself essentially yell, then hell yeah.
Yeah, and we really tackled that, and we definitely broke some barriers down. Like they struggled with all like the correct communication, and that's one of the things that everybody struggles with. But one of the big things is they were all shouting and shooting at the same time, and I'm like, "What are you guys shooting at?" They're like, "Oh, I'm shooting the lanes." I'm like, "Who?" But you can't hear where they are. You don't know where they are. Yeah. I'm watching. You're not shooting at where a guy is, and they're like, "Oh," and I'm like, "So just stop shooting and then communicate and then pick the gun back up." Yeah. So that was like a big breakthrough with them. And
you don't even have to drop the gun.
Yeah. Just stop shooting. Stop shooting. Just stop shooting.
Either yell or listen, and then you don't even have to come off the lane to listen. For sure.
Yeah. So it was cool, man. And look, I know it's tough, as you know, like the longer you're away now with the kids. I don't know if you said hi to Sloan in there, but she's in school now. It's like every day is like a new adventure and new thing. And so like being away is getting to be more difficult, you know? It's easier to explain to her, you know? But there's a point in time where like on an airplane again, and I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, your father is Ryan Greenspan. Kind of, you should probably get used to this because this is what I do to make sure you have a roof over your head and food to eat. So, sorry, kid.
Dude, speaking of food to eat, dude, check this out. And I know that you thought I was just joking, but look at this. I got to show you this. So, fellow paintball player, his name's Michael. His Instagram is Sushi. Me rolling SD.
I totally thought you were joking.
You were,
he told me
dude.
about this.
I mean, this doesn't get any better than this,
bro.
He's like, hey, do you mind if I swing over and drop some sushi off to you? And I was like, well, yeah, I don't think you ever have to ask me that. We've got bluefin.
Is that?
We've got yellowtail.
We got
get that, dude. I gotta look at this.
Well, what's crazy is I had spam and eggs this morning for breakfast.
Dude, he made me this spam musubi, and I talked about it last week. Look, I got some chopsticks for you.
Oh shit, that was gonna be my next question.
Got a little plate.
Oh, bro, thank you so much.
Here
what was this guy's name again?
His name's Michael. You can check it out. It's Sushimerolling SD on Instagram. You gotta check it out, dude. He made this thing. I think it's got 1 million views on it. Sushi me rollin' SD. Yeah. I'm gonna write it in here. Look at this thing that he made with this brisket. It's got 1 million views. I mean, he's like the real deal. He does catering.
Sushi. And he's a paintball guy?
Yeah, paintball guy.
That's awesome.
There it is. Kyle Spick is on it. Yeah. I mean, oh yeah. Real wasabi. The real deal wasabi.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I don't even know what you just got right now, but
I don't understand. I'm a huge salmon fan.
Oh, you are? You can crush that. And then he was telling me what all this stuff is. I had one of these things already, as you can tell.
Yeah, I was driving over here. I want to be like, hey, because Ryan sent me a picture of this because earlier he's like, hey man, come on show Tuesday. I'm like, yeah, try to make it. He's like, we got sushi catered. It's gonna be dope. And I thought he was messing with me because we're in the Doghouse Studios.
This is how we roll sometimes, you know. Yeah. We got. I mean, this part of it is like, yeah, just whatever you need. Look at all the sashimi right there. That's the yellow.
Sorry, we won't be eating this entire time, but I'm starving because
come on.
I was working on all those numbers today.
Yeah, all those. I was working.
Wow. Well, it was interesting.
It was outstanding.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll get into this in a bit here, but
oh yeah,
talking about the last event.
Kyle prefaced this last time. He's like, "You need to get Maddie. Maddie will be here with his notes." Is this the whole year's notes? Seasons?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's, look at because
take a breath.
Well, it's, when you're doing a show, so we're doing the live show, it's 30 hours of broadcast in 3 days. And then we do all these, I cut together all these promos and we do documentaries and there's a lot of stuff there and I don't want to mess the history up. So I go back but then I also, because some people, let's say my wife, and I think we mentioned this before, she calls it my tweaker notes. But the process of writing all this down allows me to commit trends to memory. And then I've also kind of created it in my own little process where I can very quickly go right and just look down while we're talking and get a certain, okay, so Infamous at the second event went 3-1 and 1-1 on Sunday, that sort of thing. And then I can get back into telling the story because, I mean, you look away from the game in a second. I mean, it's hard enough to see, what's going on. No, what is this one?
That's a good one. That one might be my favorite. I haven't tried them all, but I can just almost tell right now.
What's everyone's go-to? Everyone likes sushi?
Yeah, does everybody like sushi?
What's your go-to? I'm a salmon guy, but I like it all. There's not really sushi I don't like.
I steer clear of salmon, and it's not that I don't like it. Yeah, okay. The only reason for it is, and I'm not worried about it at all. I mean, I am, because I don't eat it. But salmon has been linked to, specifically, I don't know if it's the North Atlantic or the North Pacific salmon. Their spinal columns are infested with worms. So they're more likely to have worms in them and anything else. And then my mom, on top of all of it,
she's a nurse.
She was a clinical lab scientist. So she's the one who tells the doctors that you got worms or any other bloodborne and silly nonsense. So
yeah, I'm still gonna eat this.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna have a piece right now after I said all that because I don't want to. I don't want to sound like a.
Yeah, we'll get to the sushi quick, guys. Sorry, but I am starving and this is pretty.
Dude, it's all right. This is part of the deal.
But yeah, so I didn't know that Kyle was sick, but I kind of went back and got the overall record for Dynasty this year. So how many games you won, how many games you lost, obviously have all the games broken down, but then it's really interesting because now we're heading into Cup, and now I'll have like a because I do a show too on Go Sports Live. We'll get into the weeds on it, but with all the 20 teams. But I was going to compare and contrast just the simple numbers between Diesel this year with this all-star roster, but struggling, right? And then Dynasty, even though, you guys didn't win every event, but first, third, pretty damn good. Still sitting at first place overall by a decent margin. Anyway, but as far as who you lost to, so for instance, for AC Diesel, and we can go down this a little bit, but one of the interesting trends that I saw was that Hurricanes have had their number. They played the Hurricanes 3 times this year and have not beat them.
Really?
Yeah. So, just little things like that. And then X Factor is the only team that, because what's also interesting too is when you kind of look at the teams that Dynasty has played this year, you've played 15-ish, I'd have to go and check it out, of the 20 pro teams. So as I was kind of looking, I'm like writing who you won and who you lost to, and you guys played in the first 4 events almost every single team in the league, and not every team can say that, so we're just, and again, those are all just randomly the way the draw works.
I see.
Anyway, but it was just interesting. But the only team that really is I wouldn't say it's a situation because you guys are 2-2 with them, but is X Factor. X Factor's beat you guys twice. Yeah. So anyway, just kind of little
close games too. Yeah, and Canes are a good team, man. We were actually talking about it last week, team, and I've talked about it with because I was just out there in Germany, and Nick Ripples from out there.
Was he there at the event?
He was not. I was gonna hit him up and say, hey, you should come out and just kind of learn how I go through the motions on what I'm doing and what I'm talking about.
Yeah, Nick's great.
It was 2 hours from there, and then it was I hit the ground running, right? Like, I landed at 7:30 in the morning.
You weren't there for long, too.
No, I landed on Friday morning at 7:30 a.m. I got picked up, had breakfast, went to the field, dropped my bags off at the field. We went to the Porsche Museum. Cool.
Oh, tight.
It was Oktoberfest, so we went over and...
Spam.
Yeah.
So good.
We went over to... just kind of saw the festival, went on one of these creepy little carnival rides, had a beer, went to sleep, woke up, next day... just rinse and repeat. Like, it was quick, I wasn't there for long. Stayed 2 nights in this town. This is a fun one. There was a church across the street.
Wait, and what town was this, sorry?
I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
Newton now is where the...
so you travel a lot when you literally can't even say the name of the town that you went to.
Dude, there was a... I'm talking like, see that building out there? Out to the
Yeah.
There was a church right there.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Every 15 minutes... 15 minutes,
bells?
the church bell would go.
Oh, Jesus.
So the first 15 minutes, it would give me 1. Then at half past, it's just 2. Quarter till 3. And then on the hour, 4 bings, okay, telling me that it's been 1 hour. Then followed by 4 deeper toned, as many as the hour is. So at 9 p.m., it would give me 4 to let me know that it's a new hour, and then 9 more after that. So at 11 o'clock at night... this thing is just ripping. Bong, 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 bong.
Why?
I don't know, man.
Don't get me wrong.
Dude, I was so confused the first night.
I love me a good church bell. Again, growing up, where I grew up in San Diego, across the canyon, USD. It's a Catholic university, super rich and bougie. Anyway, it's a good school. But they got a church there because, they're Catholics and they love them some tradition. And that bell would go off. But I liked it because it wasn't going off as a clock, it was going off as just, on Sunday. Anyway, yeah.
No, this was letting me know. And so the first night, because a full day, right? I go to bed at I think it was 8:30. I was trying to do some emails, and I'm like, I gotta go to bed. And so I fall asleep, and I wake up to this ding, ding, and I'm so confused because I'm like, well, it's got to be early, because why would there be a church bells going off? Why would this thing be going off at midnight? Dude, it woke me up at basically, I think 11:45 is when it woke me. Or sorry, at 11 o'clock. Sorry, at 11 o'clock I woke up to the 11 of these chimes going on, and I look at the thing and I'm like, nah. I was convinced that my Apple devices were all wrong because why on earth would this thing be ripping at 11 p.m.? Oh man, dude, it was nuts. It really was.
Did I ever tell you the story? I don't think I've ever told it on this show before. Maybe on one of the Marcelo's podcast or Carl's podcast. Anyway,
did you have sushi live on PTG?
No, I've never done that.
No, point that out.
Never done a live one actually with Marcelo. Marcelo does live a little, not that far away. It's probably about the same from my house too, where he's at. Anyway,
Nevada and Arizona.
But one of my funniest Germany stories was, it's at that time we went to teach a clinic, And we were in this tiny little town. Can't remember the name of the town.
Right.
But maybe an hour outside of Cologne or something, so West Germany. And so we got like, I don't know, maybe 12 dudes, and we go to this, and there's only one bar in the town. It's one of those little tiny, quaint, almost medieval-looking European towns. And so we go to the only pub, bar, whatever you want to call it, in the town that's open at night. There might have been maybe a couple, but because it was a little bit later. Anyway, we go in. There's a grandma working this bar. Maybe she owns it. This woman's like 70 years old. There's hardcore porn on the TV. Totally random. So it's an old grandma by herself. Actually, there was a bunch of other dudes. Sorry, sorry. We got some kids in here, but
No, it's okay.
but anyway, so we go in, and there was a big group of dudes in the bar at the other side. So they had like 15 dudes. We walk in with 12 dudes. We are on the other side of the bar. Only dudes. 7-year-old grandma. Hardcore porn on the TV. And so they're, and then they're, I went to San Diego State, and they were talking to the grandma and slash bartender in German, and then they're like, "Oh, let's drink some shots." I'm like, "Yeah, let's drink some shots." And then so the old woman looks at me across the bar, and she's like, "Have you ever had Jägermeister before?" And I was like, "Yeah." No, I was actually at the time I was like, "No, what's that?" But yeah, dude, I've had some Jägermeister, probably more than I probably should have had. So I'm like, yeah, rack some Jägermeister up, let's do it. Anyway, so we're drinking, we're hanging out, and all of a sudden I look over, and one of the guys that we're with is arguing with one of the guys at the end of the bar, and they're kind of really starting to go at it, and so I'm asking one of the guys that's next to me, I'm like, hey, what are they talking about? And he's like, well, they asked if we want to have like a, and I'm going to butcher this term, but it's like a fifth period or something, or a fifth quarter or whatever. Essentially, it's a soccer hooligans jargon for, do you want to go fight? Because that's what because they were soccer hooligans traveling to go to a big football match. Sorry, Europeans, but for the rest of us, soccer. And so they were going to go, and that's what hooligans do. They go and they get in fights for fun. And so they asked us, hey, do you want to, and so the guy looks at me and he's like, and he's like, well, hey, basically like, are you down to fight these guys? And I was like, well, yeah, but I hope, do we have to? Is that like, do we have to fight these guys? Like, yeah,
are
dude,
you down?
You guys have been great hosts, so if one of you gets punched, like, I'll jump in, but is that like, do we have to do that? This was a pretty chill moment here. Anyway, so as these dudes are arguing, right, and I'm like, man, we're about to get in a big ass brawl here in the middle of nowhere, Germany. They're drinking some Jägermeister. We got hardcore porn on the TV. Grandma serving us this. Anyway, I was like, this is about to be a wild night. And then, so as they're getting to the height of the argument, all of a sudden they're screaming at each other in German. German sounds scary if dudes are just they could be talking about, they could be singing a lullaby to a child.
It's a harsh language.
Yeah, it's like in English, like this is a funny one, but it's butterfly, and then it's like a beautiful name and other things. In German, it's Schmetterling. Anyway, Schmetterling. so they're like arguing back and forth in German, and all of a sudden I hear paintball thrown in, and then another dude's like, oh, paintball? Oh, no, paintball? All of a sudden, argument is completely squashed, and they're buddy about to buy each other some shots, and I'm like, what the fuck just happened? And then I asked the dude, they eventually came over, and they're speaking to everyone, I don't speak a lick of German, than Prost, and I'm like, what just happened? He's like, well, that dude's cousin, the guy who finally was like, what the fuck are you guys doing here? And he's like, well, we're a paintball team. He's like, oh, you play paintball? My cousin plays paintball. I love paintball. I played paintball before. Let's drink a beer. So we went from about to get in this giant ass fight to everything being cool, and then we were drinking with those dudes the rest of the night. So it was a pretty good time.
Dude, that's right. Paintball saves everybody. Paintball, yeah, man, I think that's why everybody in the community is so great. People who may have disagreements or differences. One of the cool things about it is, and it's funny, like, I think Alex always mentions it when he talks about, like, he's like, oh yeah, paintball, you think I'd be friends with Johnny Perchek? Like the jock in school, and then me, the art nerd. Like those two people don't exist. They don't coexist in the same realm. But like paintball brings people together, and obviously is
100%.
Yeah.
Gifts of the game, bro. Love it.
Yeah. And it actually showed up quite a bit because we have people. The Spick Span show. All you guys and gals, and everybody who watches this is pretty tremendous human beings. Every time that we've wanted to. Don't even stop. Yeah, just keep it going, bro. Man, keep it going. We're doing work here.
I can do some work on some sushi.
This pile of deliciousness was, born from the love of paintball.
Everybody plays paintball.
Yeah, everybody plays paintball. And like the community came together always. For people that don't even know, like we did the whole thing for Maui. Mm-hmm. We did the thing for SLOWIAK. We've done stuff for multiple different charity organizations over the last couple of years. All thanks to everybody out here who's generous enough to want to be a part of that and you know, help out. I actually I've got another computer right here that was donated by Ty Dang. Was like, he heard that because I sent 2 of my computers, 2 of the old Spick and Span computers out to Hawaii for a couple kids that you know, lost all their stuff, and he heard, he's like, hey, can I send you another one? Like, can you get it to a home? And I was like, yeah, absolutely, you know. So that thing just arrived today, and I'm gonna ship it out tomorrow. I might give it to one of the Hawaiians this weekend. I'm
not gonna say this just because he's here, because we're buddies, but some people think that Ryan Greenspan's a dick, and he can be a dick sometimes. Now, that's not a lie. But I lived with this dude for a long time, known since he was 16, know him better than most. This dude gives a lot to charity. I'm not even kidding. You do that. You'd make it a point, Christmas and Thanksgiving, to go out and, you know, just little stuff. Even stuff he didn't put on. This is even before Instagram, bro. This is like, you know, you've definitely. So I got to tip my hat and respect you, because as long as I've known you, you've definitely been like, hey, you got any extra this? I'm going to go give this to this. Or I'm going to, hey, don't throw that pizza away. I'll give it to the homeless people down on the thing. You know, that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Shout out to you, bro.
Well, thanks, dude. I appreciate that. You know,
Ryan does, the thing is, are you doing good shit when people aren't looking? Because some people will say, like, oh, Ryan's just doing that because it hypes this up or blah, 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 blah. No, he actually does charitable stuff when people aren't looking. And again, I'm not just saying that because I love you and you're my buddy, but that's just the truth.
Appreciate that.
Just the truth, dude.
And yeah, like I said, it's actually, at this point, you know, I have everybody out there, you know, and guys like, you know, Alex and the main, you know, everybody in the paintball industry has come together in this last little project. You know, it's like, hey, we need to get these players out there, something to kind of like, again, paintball is such a great vessel to release of, you know, whatever the energy is, good energy, bad energy. Yeah, it does. You know, it gets your mind off of any other little things. You know, so many players and so many people that I've met, especially at clinics, you know, dealing with confidence issues or just not really know where they fit in. Like, I wasn't a big guy. I didn't play a lot of sports in high school, and this was my thing that I was good at. And you know, as soon as all those fires and everything happened, you know, because we've done a lot in Hawaii. I love Hawaii.
Hawaii's dope.
You know, and that
Hawaiians
community, Hawaiians are dope, and that community has done quite a bit for us. Yeah. You know, we go out to that big game all the time, and everybody's so friendly and everybody's so nice. And whenever we see them coming out here to play in events, dude, those people they're all awesome. So I know it wasn't a brand new, you know, CS3 or Force or whatever it is, but I got the NXL Bart and Tom. I don't know if you know about this. Bart and Tom to help out, and they helped with some donations. I got Planet Eclipse guns out for everybody. I got HK Army is giving custom jerseys and headbands that are being shipped out. A die donated 20, and for everybody, every single person out there was affected. And we got 25 sets of gear, head to toe. And then I also dipped into, thanks John Rathburn, our paint budget for the year. And we're gonna set up a free day at the field, and so I got 25 cases donated as well, so everybody can go out there, get a new set of gear, and have a case of paint on us. That's on awesome. The paintball community. So that's all coming to fruition here in the next week or so as stuff begins to arrive at Maui Paintball.
Well, cheers to you for setting that up.
Yep, it's all I did was ask. I just tried to get it going, and Bart actually came and he's like, hey, we got to do something, and I was like, absolutely, I'll spearhead it, I'll handle it. Just you know, let me know how you can help. He's like, whatever you guys need. So Bart was instrumental in getting this going, and he's also helped so much with paintball in general.
Well, it's just, you know, it's one of those things. The paintball community does come together because you know, when we talk about there's so many things in life that force us, especially with all the bullshit that's been going on and COVID, and you know, the wrecking ball that social media and our devices have been into human civilization, and yeah, obviously that's a razor's edge of good and bad, but that's like a whole another 5-hour-long conversation itself. But the thing about paintball is that there's so many good things. It's good for you as a human. First of all, you're exercising. Second of all, you're exercising a part of your brain that you normally, like, it's a simulated violent moment, which is something that your entire life you're supposed to stay away from. And then, but we as human beings, as Homo sapiens sapiens, have evolved in a way, especially, and this is, you know, men and women, but certain type of men, certain type of women, more men than women, but it's necessary, but partaking in this simulated violent moment, it bonds you to other human beings. Again, that is something that we are built to do. And so it's just so special, you know. There's so many things about the game that are badass, but paintball really does kind of burn through the bullshit of your extenuating circumstances. I mean, how many times have we heard stories about how, if it wasn't for paintball, this would have happened, or paintball saved me from this, or paintball, gave me some of my best friends, or allowed me to travel, whatever. There's so many of those stories. So yeah, but that fire needs to continually stay lit. I mean, it doesn't just caretake itself. So.
Well, speaking of that, what better place to do it? What competition? Because everybody's competitive.
Yeah.
Dude, keep going. I see you.
No.
I see you.
I'm starting to reach the end of my my capacity.
There's only about 3 pounds left, so.
I mean, are we saving some for Kyle?
Kyle's got to eat a little bit of this.
All right,
yeah, but he's gonna be happy.
Sloan eat sushi yet?
She opened it. She's like, "What's in there?" I open it, and she goes, "Ew, yuck!" And he laughed. No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't.
Monty ate a little slice of some salmon the other day, but
like raw, like sashimi.
Yeah.
Okay, because Sloan loves fish, and actually Michael also dropped off, I think, 7 pounds of wahoo and 4 pounds of yellowtail.
That's awesome.
So I've got, my freezer's loaded up.
Dude, and this
is a real deal wasabi.
Bro, I know, it's really good.
Yeah. So, dude. Are you in town this weekend? Are you going to SC Village? Shout out to see my SC Village church. This is 19.
Wait, what's at SC Village this weekend?
Decay of Nations.
Oh, that's this weekend?
That's this weekend.
God damn it.
What do you got going on? Yoshi's coming down. Alex is coming down. Todd will be up there, I'm pretty sure. We got, I think Rodney's going to come out on Sunday. We've got Quincy, I think, might come.
I gotta check. Oh, I'm going to Chicago.
Oh, you're doing the ICPL?
Yeah. Go Sports will have a show at the ICPL. I was like, what am I doing this weekend?
Yeah.
This is how many trips we have. But, yeah, so we have the ICPL. It's going to be sweet. Love the 10-mans. Yeah, I definitely am bummed that I'm going to be missing DECAY Nations. It's the best big game on the West Coast, well, southern West Coast. Super game up in Oregon is like one of the best in the world. But, yeah, the DECAY Nations is awesome. SC Village is legendary. I wish I could go. I had so much fun with Alex last year. And,
yeah.
A bunch of people. It was super fun.
No, we're stoked
we've
on it.
We've dominated in some big games before.
We have.
He's
Dude,
a stud
I
at big games, bro.
I love big games.
I know. I love that you love big games.
Dude, I'll literally, I'll go until I can't walk anymore.
I know. Which I respect that about you. Some of the salty old guys, like Davey, the other day. Saw Dave Williamson, old Dynasty guy. Legend. I grew up with Davey, known him since we were like 12. He does not like big games. I'm like, bro, you're a tough old asshole. How do you not want to go out and shoot 3,500 people in a day? You go out in one set and shoot 70 people. That's not even an exaggeration.
Oh, and I love it, and get this. So I have DECAY of Nations this
weekend. Take that away from me, bro. I can't anymore.
Okay. DECAY of Nations this weekend, and then I'm going not straight to, I obviously come home for...
You going big game?
Back-to-back big games. Yeah, so I'm going to be at Clowns vs. Zombies over at Paintball Explosion. I've been doing that for... I think this is like year 10 or 12 or something like that.
That's amazing.
So I've got, and it's cool because we've got this contingency of Dynasty Champions Club and Dynasty Paintball Club members, which you've seen it. You've seen our VIP tent.
Yeah,
you stare right at it all day.
All day. Slightly off to my left.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet, man. Like we've been really working hard to provide like a really cool experience for everybody. I've actually got one of this. My gift just came in today. Or actually came in over the weekend. I'm gonna open it here in a little bit, but we've got a little VIP experience there, so we'll have like a little tent with refreshments and water, snacks, all that stuff. But at both events, right in Chicago and in LA, and then we've got every quarter Dynasty does a grand prize drawing for somebody, and 2 players now won a trip to come play with us in the big game. So we got this cool little special prize, and like we're just rallying the troops. We got some Champs Club members in here.
Well, here's the deal, and. I mean, I am biased towards Dynasty. I think they're doing awesome things. I've known them since they were children. But the Champs Club is really cool. But you guys crush it, obviously, at big games. But you're fun to hang out with at big games because every single dude on Dynasty. I don't think I've ever played with Arturo at a big game. Blake crushes at big games.
Yeah, Blake's right here. I see him in the chat.
Oh, what's up, Blake? Blake crushes it at big games. No surprise there. Alex is an absolute savage out there at big games. Ryan is savage at big. Yosh is really good at big games. And I just love that they like playing those because, you know, some, like, again, and I respect, hey man, if you don't like it, it's
Right.
fine, but that's one of those things that if you don't like pizza or sushi or, I don't know, a beach, you know, again, and I'm pale as hell, but I may not want to stay out in the sun very much, but I like what it looks like. It's still dope. The big game is kind of one of those things from like, how do you not like big
Yeah.
games? It doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense.
How do you like paintball and you don't like big games? And I kind of get it sometimes. Like people are like, oh, look, people out there cheat or they do this. You know, I've always said this, and I'll sound a little bit like a broken record. Maybe I haven't talked about it a little bit, but just kind of touching on the indoor paintball play and communication aspect, dude. If you can go right and play in a group of people who you've never met, and you can get like convince some kid or some old man to be like, hey, all right, hey, see that stick pile over there with the shade? There's a pallet to the left of it. There's 3 guys right there, and can you and like
That's a really good point.
your ability
That's
to
a
like
really good
explain and like rally the troops. And that's the other thing is like rallying the troops and getting people like to make moves and do stuff. Because if you can do that to somebody that you'd never met before, if you can get like some young kid or some old man or whatever it is, some group of guys like, hey, cover me, I'm gonna go here, then I'm gonna get you guys to move. If you can get them to do that, then you can get your teammate who you've played paintball with for a while to do that also.
Yeah, I mean, I could sit here and tell big game stories for 5 hours probably. I love big games.
Let's
I
crash
played
the
a ton of them.
castle.
Let's crash castle. I got tons of castle stories of big games. We went and played a big game in New York one time. It was with Nikki Cuba, Oliver. I don't think you were out there for that one. Alex was out there. Nick Cuba's brother. Anyway, we played 10 on 100. And they had to come get us out of this castle. Bro, that was wild, dog. That was a gnar. We won, by the way, 10 against 100. It was sweet, but it was like reincarnations. They got a little crazy because it's New Yorkers anyway.
New Yorkers.
There's tanks out there. That was Tiff. Did I ever tell you this? I think I've told you the story before, and I've definitely told this story in a couple podcasts, but it's like my favorite. I have a couple tank kill stories. I'll tell you my favorite tank kill story.
Let's hear it.
Okay, so I'm an invasion in Normandy. Which is in Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania. Not D-Day. That's in Oklahoma. That one's sweet too. Got some crazy stories from there. We were at D-Day together.
Yeah, that's where I broke my back.
That's where you broke your back?
Yeah.
In the night game?
Yeah. No, getting a tour of the field.
Oh.
Yeah, and then I had to get back. I could barely walk. Yeah.
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 He wasn't even that old this time, or back then. Anyway, so yeah, tank kill story. So I go to Invasion in Normandy, which I did not know what I was getting myself into for this game because it's like 4,000 people out there, bro.
That's
like
insane.
4,000 people, and this was also 15 years ago. So they took the whole American and German thing. Some of those camps, I'm like, they took the German thing kind of a little far. You know what I'm saying? I was like walking around at night. It was crazy, bro. Like it's like, that was a little wild. I wasn't down for that. But whatever. But so anyway, but during the battle, it starts off with this gnarly battle. I have some crazy stories about that. But then it all kind of, it sorts itself out, and then it's just roving huge, thousand. Again, there was like 4,200 people there. I don't even think that's an exaggeration that year, the year I was there. So battle's roving back and forth, and there's this tank rolls up, and I didn't know any of the rules about the tanks. I'm just like, oh, there's a tank. How do we kill it, right? And I didn't know you had to have this foam fucking bullshit rocket launcher. Yeah. And then after I learned when I grew up playing paintball, I did not think I would be necessarily. But I also started playing paintball to pretend to play war. Like the sport thing happened afterwards. So when it did happen, I was like, this is a little weird. Like, I need a rocket launcher. It's got fucking rocket launchers. You're like. Dude's got twin Titman shooting 400 with 3,000 rounds and fucking scuba tanks. Anyway, so
you need Rodney.
Yeah, bro. So I see and the tank is just peeling people off, and I'm behind this tree, and fucking barks flying off the trees. Dudes are shooting hot foreshore, and it was a turret and the tank, and so but I noticed as I'm like head checking the tree as dudes are just getting peeled, and there's like a decent amount of no man's land, probably 50 yards between me and this tank at this point in time, but it was a flat run. And there's not much to hide behind. This is why, and that's kind of why that specific big game invasion in Army, the beginning is super fun, but there's so many people out there. Michigan Monster Game has fields built up. Anyway, that's a different story. Anyway, so I'm looking at this tank, and I'm like, how the fuck do I kill this tank? Now at the time, I was sponsored by Smart Parts. So for that specific set, I had one of those shockers they had back in the day.
No way.
Yeah, shooting PSP mode.
The shoebox ones?
Yeah, like a 2008 shocker.
Oh, okay, that was like our
it was like a dynasty shocker, but it wasn't a dynasty shocker. But I had all I had the gnarly guts in it, which was like fast, real fast. Like just touch it, and it's just and this is 15 balls a second. I was definitely shooting hot too. So I'm like, all right. So the tank rolls up, everyone's getting destroyed. I'm like, all right, they're totally decimating our line. I need to take this tank down. And I look and realize that as the turret was really slow, so we would go over like this, really slow, and just, again, double barrel Titmans, just insane amounts of fire coming out full auto. So we would go one way, shoot, and then go all the way around like this, and then shoot, and then there was no gun ports on the front, and then there was gun ports on the side with just netting over them. And it was like a huge golf carty thing with plywood on it, nets on the side, and then the turret built on top. So I'm like, oh, I see how I can kill this.
Yeah.
Because as soon as the turret would come all the way, I would just tree drill. That's just, you run straight at something, you know, whatever, like you're closing out a point, you run straight at a bunker. So I'm just like, all right, I'm going to take this fucking tank down. So I've never told you the story before?
No.
Yeah, so the turret's all the way over there, and as soon as it gets to that one side, I timed it, and I just start taking off. This back before I had a gray beard and I could run a little bit. So I'm like, cutting through there, and so I get to the tank, slide on the side of the tank, you know, and to one of the gun ports, and the dude's barrel is sticking out of the gun port, right, shooting the other way. So I come right to the side, I lift open, because it's already open a little bit because his gun's out of it, and I lift open the netting, and I get the gun going as I'm about to put the gun in. So I'm 15 balls a second, shoot about 320, put that thing in just stab it right by the dude's barrel, and I just start and I'm just murdering everyone inside this tank. I can hear them squealing. Everyone's like, ah! Everyone's yelling and screaming. And then as I'm just like, yeah, that's right, where, motherfuckers, that's what you get. I'm just so pissed that he's shooting everyone, and I'm just fucking just destroying these dudes. They must have worn some nasty blood welts that day. Anyway, so then I get tackled. So I'm like, I literally get tackled. It's like a dude tackles me. I'm on the ground like this, and I look up, and it's a ref, and he's like, you're out. And I'm laying on the ground, I'm like, I didn't get shot. I was totally a lie. Definitely got shot on the way up there, 1,000%, but like, whatever. And then so he's like, you're out. I was like, I started playing my case. I'm like, I did not get shot, blah, blah. He's like, no, you're out because
you're not allowed to do that.
You can't get within 10 feet of the tank. And I was like, that's fucking bullshit. And I got up and walked off. And I was like, yeah, tank kill, what's up, son? All you dudes have blood welts. You're going to be thinking about me in the shower later on when you're wondering how you got all those welts. Yeah, that was me.
That was me. It's so funny you say that because I've done... So... Mine isn't as good, but I know what you mean because you're not allowed to shoot those guys. Like, you have to kill them a specific way.
Just total bullshit.
Because those guys are in there thinking they're hot shit and invincible and blah, 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 blah. At Clowns vs. Zombies, and I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
So at Clowns vs. Zombies, they've got, like, the individual robot tanks, right? So there's this guy walking, and, like, he's got this PVC
mech
pipe.
Warrior dudes.
Yeah, it's like PVC pipe, and he's just ripping around. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the back of his legs are always exposed.
100%. You can always shoot their toes, bro.
Yeah.
Shoot their toes. Shoot those guys in the foot.
And when he shoots you, it's like when he gets up to you, it's not like he's like, "Yo, you're out, sir." You know, he's just like, "Well," he lets people have it.
Yeah.
So I got worked by him, and I'm like, "All right, well, I'm gonna go shoot this guy, because I got some skills." So I run back to respawn, do the quick thing, reload, come back out. And there he is walking around. And I crawl up on him, and he's like mobile, but like he has to stay on the path.
Well, and also they got all that gear on and stuff. Like they can't. They're mobile. They're not sprint. You're not sprinting.
Yeah, and his team kind of like follows him up a little bit because he's over there clearing the way.
Yeah.
And as soon as he gets like, I'm saying 10 to 15 feet, like right past me, right where I can see the back of his legs, and he's wearing like shorts with like those riot fronts, like shin pads and knee pads, but the back of his leg is just bare.
Yeah.
And so I just start shooting him in the back of the legs. And again, I didn't know you're not allowed to do this either. I thought like,
wait, you can't shoot the mech warrior guys in the feet?
No, this guy was a tank. He was a tank.
Oh, but but it's like an individual tank.
Yeah, he wasn't in a vehicle.
Hold on, he's walking himself around.
He's walking himself around.
Not a tank, bro. Not a tank. That's like a mech warrior guy.
I got in trouble.
You'll see those if you go out to DECAY.
Yeah.
There will be dudes out there. Just little public service announcement. Shoot him in the feet. Last year at DECAY, at similar situation, I was in a bunker. And this mech warrior starts coming. She's just shooting everyone. On the top side, at if you're coming from like the back side, where the kind of the netting is. If we're looking from like that's north, and there's a kind of goes all the way up into its thick woods kind of stuff, and then all of a sudden it gets open into the town area. Okay, right there. So there's a road right there. So he's coming up the road, shooting everyone in the woods. Everyone's shooting at him, and he's getting pretty close. Like you said, dudes are following behind him. And I'm in this spot, and I'm kind of low on paint, but there's a dude in there with me, this like 15-year-old kid. Who is playing a little scared, you know, and we're getting shot by a million dudes. That's another fun thing about a big game because you'll be in a plywood bunker and there's 75 dudes shooting at you, and that's not an exaggeration sometimes. And then, and
caveat.
Sometimes this time there was probably maybe 10 or 15 people shooting at us, but that sounds, you know, like it's a plywood bunker, dude. Anyway, so
So I'm like, come on, I'm like trying to get him to shoot this way. I'm like, just shoot this way, because I'll cover this area. Anyway, the mech warrior comes up, but he didn't have his feet covered, and he didn't even have like good armor on his front. So I'm just sitting there cackling in glee, just throwing laser beams with my autococker. Thank you, Danny Love. And I was just like, I'm just like, oh, this is hilarious. I'm shooting the dude's just tap dancing up there. He's tap dancing, and then finally I look over at the kid. I'm like, hey, give me a pot of paint, kid. Let's go. I can't get out of here. Oh, so fun. Yeah, dude. Again, I can.
So if we haven't sold you on signing up for a big
for
game,
hours.
SC Village this weekend, Decay of Nations with Dynasty Champions Club and Alex and Yosh. Next weekend at Paintball Explosion, Clowns vs. Zombies. I think Harrison's going to be out there. I'll be out there. I think Rodney Squires and his son are going to be out there. Rodney's going to come, both of them. We've also got Blake Yarber is going to be there. So back to back. I mean, would you like to have a story like this?
You gotta
Would
go.
you like to end the season with a story as epic as Maddie?
Well, we would
sign up for a big game.
What we call it, gotta die your glorious death. Gotta die a glorious death. It's just paintball. You're not really dying, so you go out there, but you have to get yourself in so much shit that you're not going to get out of it alive, and then you have to come back from the set because everyone's sitting in the parking lot and crushing hot dogs and drink beers, whatever, just having a good time. And when you come back, we used to go back in the day when we were playing big games, because I played a lot of big games, and so it'd be like, hey, did you get your glorious death? And then you would hope to have some sort of great story, like I took this tank down, or there was 50 of them and just 5 of us, or whatever.
Get your glorious death, dude.
That would be
glorious death. You know what would be cool is to have like make a t-shirt that says that, first of all. But there should be like some special badge of honor that you get. Like if Matty Marshall or like one of the generals, if he saw you like my glorious death, like you go in there and you handle it and then you die and you're like, okay, that's not so bad, and then you get like this patch or like
it's like the paintball version of a Medal of Honor.
Like we got we've got like these little
I mean, Ryan's got a ton of
we've got all these coins,
everything. I don't even know, you have so much stuff in here, I can't even pick one of them.
It's too much. Actually, I literally posted today.
It's like the collections grow every time I come down here. I do the show on a regular basis, but I feel like every time I come down here, there's more stuff here.
It's too much.
I like the cluttered feel of it, though.
Yeah, it's got the thing. We've got the boxes here. We've got these are actually Oliver Lang's cleats. So these are on display. The sponsor deal. I've got some moonshine back there from Germany. We're gonna have to pop that open. I got some nice little snifters up there for us to test it out. So lucky you. But no, I have these. I got these are cool. Have you seen these? Leds sent me a bunch of these Immortal Legends trading cards.
I got one of those in there.
Yeah, you do. And I'm gonna give away some of these today too. He's like,
I need to get a pack.
He's like, these. I got you, dog. I got boxes of these. He sent me a bunch. He's like, okay, hey, when you give them away, don't give away a whole pack because they're gonna be collectors. We want people to trade them and this and that. And I was like, oh,
just give them away.
Okay. He's like, only like 2 or 3 people have a full set, and you're one of them. I go. And the guy who won on the show last week.
I feel like if you're in this deck, you should get a full pack.
Yeah.
These are so
for
good.
For sure. I've got an extra pack if you want one.
I can't remember which one I was. God, these are so good.
They're cool, huh?
Oh, what? That's messed up. I hope these guys have individual cards.
Oh, the whole squad.
Yeah, well, they got the Yakamex as one card. They all should have their own card. That's fine.
Their own card.
Marcus Davis.
Leds watches the show, so we'll put that in there.
Oh, I love Leds.
Yeah, he's great.
I've slept on Leds' couch in Manchester before.
Well, there we go.
And then when I got there, he was like, "Hey, you want to go down to the pub?" I'm like, "Yo, we can just walk to a pub," because at the time I was living here in PB, and you can actually walk to bars here in PB. And he looked at me like I was crazy. He's like, "Maddie, everyone in England can walk to a pub from their house."
Well, I had these. Well, anyway, we'll get some more of the challenge coins, some of the Hormesis challenge coins.
Hey, baby.
Nice, baby.
3 of spades, huh?
3 of spades. I don't know the significance of any of the cards.
Glenn Takamoto.
Mm-hmm. That was 5.
Yeah, I just saw him the other day at Eric Hunter's kid's birthday
party. I'm a 9.
Oh, there you go.
8.
8 of spades.
8 of spades. Double O Matty. Double O Marshall. Yeah, so these are cool, man. Everybody's making these little cards. Did you see the gold?
Actually, I need a baseball cap, bro. Yep. Can we bring some style back, please? Can we just get like a little bit? Didn't have the backwards hat.
The bill flipped up slightly, so just in case he gets really fast, keeps him low to the ground.
Yeah, for sure. God, those eggs were terrible.
Yeah, I've got a velocity. I don't have the egg. I don't have the velocity in my
my bag. Rabikov's also sharing a card.
Both of them?
Yeah. 9 of
what?
spades.
That's whack.
Those are legends.
Yeah, so we've got those cards. We've got these really cool gold cards that we came out with. They sold out immediately. And actually, Ryan, you need to send our gold cards. I need mine. I want to see it. I'll show Maddie and stuff. But yeah, I'm constantly like trying to get rid of stuff.
What's gold card?
We've got these like gold metallic gold cards.
I was just going down memory lane real quick here.
And then every month I get more stuff. Let's see. I'm gonna open this right now. This is from the Champs Club. You can actually sign up for the Champs Club right now. We're taking. I think there were 20 spots. There might be 15 or 10 spots left. Every month we send out a gift bag.
I was looking at said someone Maddie rocking a visor. Bro, that was not a visor, dog. It's the front of a baseball cap. All right, it's not a visor. I've worn a visor. Everyone's worn a visor. Visors were cool for like 2 seconds back in the mid '90s, but whatever.
I rocked the visor. We used to cut the hats into visors. Remember that? So anyway, every month we give away a gift package that is delivered straight to your door. This is on the Dynasty Champions Club, amongst other cool things. This month here we got some JT Dynasty shorts. We've got a Project long sleeve. Sick. Oh, this is dope. This is actually
Project makes really good stuff.
Look at that.
I don't know who does their designs, but whoever does their designs is
really cool. Look at that.
Absolutely.
Look at the Dynasty logo, like materializing from geometry.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
that's
that's
what
sick.
I'm saying, dude. Like every time I look at one of their designs, it just looks badass.
Yeah. Champs Club needs to update my sizing. I'm a size large now, not a medium.
Oh, I'm an extra large. I'll take this one.
This is a medium, dog.
That's all medium.
This is a medium.
Bro,
I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. Now you know what's gonna happen. Camille's gonna steal it. We also got a Dynasty tank tool. I got some extra large gear here. I got a Todd Cash Money hoodie.
Well, it depends. If it's wearing it, like this is an extra large shirt, but if I'm playing it, then I'm gonna need a double X.
This is sick. A little Dynasty tank tool, custom tank tool. These are actually pretty cool, dude. You know what I got in extra large? If you want it, I've got. I'll show you. I got some XL gear here. But yeah, most of the stuff here, will like. An HK Army sent us a big box of stuff. They're a little show sponsor.
Is this everything you're giving away? I know you give.
Well,
do you still give away?
I'm gonna
give away $1,000 worth of stuff every single show.
Pretty much, yeah. This is a laser barrel case. Oh, there's a barrel in here. We'll give this away today. Look at that. Laser barrel kit.
Is it like a actual?
Dude, I loved this type of anodizing back in the day.
Oh yeah, this is classic.
Yeah, it's classic.
Straight up,
it's classic. That's the Planet Eclipse.
Some stuff is just timeless, and splash anodizing is just continued to be absolutely timeless. Yeah, that's
it's really cool.
Pretty.
HK jumped on as a sponsor for a couple of months.
Is this
show off their paint?
Is this a new barrel that came out? Didn't they come out with the new barrel?
I know they already had the laser barrel. They used to send me a little write up on what to talk about in particular on the show.
Now there's like
they're just like just run it, whatever you want to give away. We'll just keep sending you boxes of stuff, and we'll just rip it. And we're like, okay, you got it. This is sick. We're gonna give this away to the Mega members today. Someone's gonna win one of these. We got a handful of other stuff. We got Gen X. We've got Matrix gear. We got a couple of T-shirts. And I've got a Gen X pod caddy. If you guys are Spick Span fans and friends and family, and you're at DECAY of Nations this weekend, come say hey, come say what up. I got some keychains for you, and I'm gonna bring a bunch of Gen X stuff to give away. Gen X has been a big supporter of the show, so between them and a couple Matrix gear T-shirts, just come up. We'll get a picture, put it on the deal. Yeah, Michael Eckhart, I got your chili water up there. That's actually some good stuff too. You should try some of that. I've got all sorts of goodies.
Chili water. Is it good, or are you trying to?
No, it's
trying
good.
to trick me into eating.
No,
some
it's good. It's good. I'm still not totally sure what I'm supposed to do with it, Mike. You're supposed to send me a recipe, but it's like
you cook with it.
Yeah, so it's like a vinegar, spicy chili garlic vinegar sauce. But it's like water, liquid. Another thing
that not a lot of people might not know about you is that Ryan's a great cook too.
Yeah.
Ryan is a great cook.
I like to cook.
You still cooking?
Dude, I'm cooking all the time. Yeah. Dude, I made some. Shout out to Michael with the fish Sushimerolling. He's like, hey, here's some wahoo and some yellowtail. I go, what should I do with it? He goes, macadamia crust. I'm like, all right. He's like, you got a food processor? I said, yes, I do, but I hate cleaning it, so I'm not going to use a food processor. And he goes, bet, I understand. Crush it up, just toss it. So I made macadamia nut crusted wahoo the other night. Fucking bomb.
I mean, you can kind of, you just get like a big butcher knife or like.
No, I know you
whatever.
smash it. Yeah, dude.
You're right. It's
I
definitely
figured it out.
it's a pain in the ass regardless.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's more. Is it more of a pain in the ass to spend more time crushing up nuts that way, or is it more pain in the ass to use a food processor, which definitely is a pain in the ass?
Dude, I'm over. I used my food processor one time, and I'm in there with a Q-tip trying to get that thing clean.
Yeah,
my mom used one all the time. I don't know. I got to ask her exactly. Like,
just got to get the tank tool and then just blow it out with compressed air, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I got the tank tool. Yeah, thanks. Shout out to the Dynasty Champions Club. I got the tank tool right in here. Go to dynastypaintball.com. Obviously, after the show, don't do it at the expense of gathering some amazing knowledge.
Open up multiple
windows.
Windows.
I do know that.
I think it was last time I was like, hey, minimize this window, and then Spick was like, no, don't do that. We're trying to maximize. I'm like, bro, you are aware that people can operate 2 separate windows on their computers at the same time. You can do that, right? Regardless.
Yes. See, I mean, look at me. I've got 2 screens. I've got this thing. I even have this iPad set up just in case we want to call Alex or somebody.
I'll tell you what. I love doing your show. Super fun. And I love having Kyle in here. There's a lot more room in Doghouse Studios when we just have 2 people.
Yeah, it gets hot when there's only 3.
When we had 4, it was like you, me, Alex.
Yeah,
you, me, Spicka,
and
Oliver.
Yeah.
So there's 4 of us in here, and then we're just like, I'm not small, so I'm like this.
You know, I think we're gonna move. We keep saying we're gonna move the studio over to that side of the hang, but like if you see that mountain of Camille's boxes over there,
yes, it's ominous almost.
Yeah, it is. It's scary.
Yeah,
Kyle's like, yeah, whenever you want to do it, let's do it. And I kind of look over there. I'm like, I don't really know if I want to do that.
This works. This
works.
Fine.
I think I just need to get a smaller table. I need to get this table like in half.
Yes.
Then we can get a little bit over here.
I think so.
Then we got some space, and then I got to get like a wide angle camera.
You actually have a little bit of room that way. I know this is kind of right in line with the entryway, but you could push this way a few inches. But yes, getting because you don't even use all of that. Well, you kind of use all the table. Yes, a smaller table here would be sweet.
Well, I only use all the table because I've got so much crap.
Yeah.
You know, like I got my autococker over here. I've got 2. Why do I need 2 jars of pens? Because I got the space.
Yeah.
I
like the autocockers there.
This could be in a better place. 2022 World Champion. My ring. Like I could probably put that.
This looks like a well-used office.
It does.
You know?
And you know what? They don't. You know what they say about clean desks?
Well, who is it? Was it Einstein? Somebody. I may butcher this quote, but somebody had said.
But this is what I was prefacing. Yes.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Go for it then.
No, that was it. No, you go for it. You're better at it than I am.
Well, no, it was that if a cluttered desk is the sign of a cluttered mind, then what does an empty desk mean?
Right. That's it.
You know.
That's it.
So, I don't know. That's just also me. I'm always been a little bit of a cluttered.
You sure have. Yeah.
Cluttered
You sure
as well
have.
too. I don't like throwing things away. I mean, I'm not a hoarder, but
you're not a hoarder. You just. And it's not like you're like overly stacked with stuff. Like you could look in our garage and say these guys are hoarders, but I wouldn't say you're a hoarder. You're just kind of forgetful.
Yeah.
Like he would have when we lived together. He would have all 3 of the remotes from the TVs in his bedroom.
Yeah, because I got my mind on other stuff. I'm thinking about
I got to turn my TV on.
Like why did the Rome Empire fall? You know, as I'm carrying the remote like a dumbass into my room, and then you'd be like, Matt, you got the remote? I'm like, nah, I don't have the remote. And I'm like, it's fucking sitting right here. I'm like, oh, sorry, dude, I was thinking about something else.
Without fail.
Guilty, 100%.
You look under the couch one time, and you're like, it's in Maddie's room.
My bad, dude. My bad. We're all imperfect in our own ways.
So let's talk about the event.
I was gonna
let's
say,
get some of these notes going.
I'm just kind of waiting. I don't know how long I have here.
Oh shit!
I don't have to leave right now. But
Okay.
Well, my wife Morgan was like, well, hey, when are you gonna be home? I was like, show could go 45 minutes. Show could go an hour and a half, 45. I don't really know.
Yeah, we don't know. You never know.
Really know. Well, yeah. So
we almost didn't have internet, so who knows what the hell's gonna happen.
It all worked out. It all meant to happen.
It's all here.
I don't know I don't know if there's something specific you wanted to talk about. Maybe I could ask you. I like not asking questions when I come in these shows because I have to ask questions all the time. So I really like being asked questions. But I can ask you some questions. But
you can ask me any questions you like. Oh, just real quick. Ding, ding, ding. It is 5 o'clock. There's a Tiger Wear drop. Just went live. Kyle just posted it. If you want to get in on some Tiger Wear merch, teaser is dope. Kyle's doing a great job editing these videos. Also, big shout out to Dan Shelley. Today was another announcement about the children's book. Have you seen that? I'll show it to you before we leave. Or I can go run and grab it.
I did see something about that.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
I mean, I just saw that I saw that there was a kids' children's book, but I didn't get the full.
It's really cool,
download.
man. I got a chance to work with Dan on it for the last several months.
Tight.
I got to see a little insight on how those things are written. Pretty clever, and then also work with the artist on how to bring paintball to life and make it look, cool and fun, and then help with the story, and then some of the ideas on it. You know, like it's about finding your inner dragon, finding confidence. Really great story. It's a really cool story, man. It's like,
well, again, you know,
and I'm in it.
Paintball is something that actually, just there's people throwing some questions in the chat. Down to answer any of them. I don't. We can get to all of them in the time that we have, but obviously he could sit here and ask him questions for hours. He could do the same for me. But if there's any, because there's been a couple. Is there any team?
Yeah, I was just
they're
about to write that
expecting
one
to
down.
take a step this year that is disappointed for sure? AC Diesel, Maddie, what are a few stories in the league that need to be told? Player stories, teams. Ooh, that's a long. We can do a whole podcast on that alone. Hurricanes right now.
That would be more like we should tell the story of so and so. You know, like we don't need to actually tell the story. It's just kind of like, what are a few stories? And big shout out to Sal. He's been helping out with a lot of our. Yeah, dude. Ooh, got your ass.
So throw some questions in the chat if you feel so inclined. If not, then you could just sit there and enjoy everyone else asking questions. That's fine too. What were we just talking about? We were just talking about children's
stories. Yeah, and then also, guys, you can do pre-orders on Amazon. We're gonna have some signed copies available on the Dynasty website as well. Signed by myself, Alex, Oliver, and Yosh. All of us are in the story in some fashion. They did. The lady did a great job. You know, she captured my smile. Didn't put any wrinkles on my face. Like it's a pretty, you know, all around it's great.
20
you know?
all over again,
it's all around. It's great. You know. But it's a really cool story, and I'm very excited. I think it was mainly it's really to bring focus and just imprint along about the new upcoming generation of paintball players along the way.
My kid, I don't know, because she's in there's a paintball wives club, and our wives are in it, and my son, who's just turned 3. My wife got him some army men, which, I mean, I'm trying to keep him away from it. Not really like keep him away from it, but his favorite game is fight. I'm not trying to do anything to make him a violent kid, and he's not violent, but he just loves pretending to be violent. Anyway, so he got all the army men out, and so we put like some paintball up, and it was a Sunny Drivers or whatever, and then anytime it went to, I'm like, oh, there's Uncle Ryan, there's Uncle Yosh, there's Uncle Davey, and anytime it went to anyone getting interviewed, he just lost his shit, full on meltdown. Oh,
because he wanted
because
action.
he'd be like, put the pew pew on. I want to know what to paint. Like, he can barely talk. He's 3, but it was hilarious, dude. And then I was, going through, doing my work, just rewatching Paintball and taking notes and creating voiceover and blah 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 blah, getting ready for shows. But and he's like, "Oh, you watching the pew pew?" He calls Paintball pew pew now, and he's like, "Oh, you watching the pew pew? I want to watch the pew pew. Oh, it's raining because this was not the last minute. It's adorable. Anyway, but yes,
it's cute, right?
I'm
It's
super
fun.
happy
It's
that
fun when they Wait until. Do you have a gel blaster for him yet?
No, I don't.
Dude, take one of my gel blasters and just show it to him.
Oh, dude,
he's gonna love it.
Want to do
because Sloan's gonna be 5 in December, and she's been ripping the gel blaster. I mean, her first thing when I gave it to her, probably at 3, a little early, but they'll figure it out.
Whatever.
First one was
it's fine.
Full auto, just ripping all the way at Rose, and you're just like slow motion. Oh,
yeah.
She was about to let Rose have it, but now, like, dude, she'll walk in here and be like, Dad, and grab a pair of goggles, grab a pair of my goggles right here. She'll just grab these things. She'll put them on, and she'll just be like, "Can I have shoot my jelly blaster?" I'm like, "Yeah." And she'll just go out there and she'll just rip. I got this little target thing, and she's like, "They just came out with these cool little target." I'm trying to get Gel Blaster to send out a bunch of guns out or blasters out here, so we can send them out to everybody. Because if you haven't played with it, they're so much fun.
It's super cool.
They're so cool.
I'm just so jealous, bro. When I came up, like, we were shooting BB guns at each other and wrist rockets and all this sorts of ridiculous, dangerous stuff.
Shit.
Yeah, so now that there's Nerf and the gel blasters and 50 cal, it's awesome, dude. That's why people are asking me, well, what happens when Dynasty retires? I'm like, well, it'll be the next team up, and then I'm just gonna keep doing that. Let's get into some of these questions.
Yeah.
I mean, because again,
of course.
Look, I only live 25 minutes away, so I can come down whenever. But
we
will be here for 4 hours.
We'll be here for a long time.
And we do have hours and hours and hours of stories. So,
Maddie, how do you feel about GJ on the Bears? Should he be playing more?
I love GJ on the Bears. He actually did get a decent amount of spins at the last event. He has gotten a decent amount of spins. The tough thing for the Bears right now is they've been struggling since the first event. And the problem is that when you are struggling at the level where they're struggling, which means problems across the field, it's not just the snake side, it's not just the D side. They're trying to save points. They're trying to, every time you go play paintball, you are trying to dictate the pace of the game by dictating the pace of the points, by dictating the pace of the moves that happen out there based on your style. Some teams are slightly more aggressive. Some teams can play both. You got like a Houston Heat. Thank you, Kyle Spick. Go drink some vitamin C, dog. We need you better soon. Is that so Heat's going to play a little bit more aggressive, but they can play slow too. Again, there's really no good team is going to just be aggressive or just play slow. That's not how it works anymore. Anyway, but with the Bears, because they did have some success at that first event. So yeah, just let me pull up my first event just real quick. I mean, the Bears took 8th at the first event, which isn't, that's not lighting the league on fire. But it was impressive, in the sense that, they made it to the quarterfinals, did get beat up by Impact a little bit there, but they were dictating the way the game was being played, even win or lose. Now, so they're trying to go back to that, and they just are grinding their gears on offense. With GJ, GJ, he's amazing, dude. GJ Sakaguchi's dope, but they are just like, if you're going out and losing a guy here, and now it's 4-on-5, and then you lose another one, now it's 3-on-5, and then you lose the point, then you go out, maybe win a point, and then go lose 2-3 in a row, and they're just kind of having problems all over the place. So, just playing GJ more is not going to solve their problems. Their front players need better survivability. Their back, everyone does. It's kind of one of those. It's a crescendo of shitty moments where tons of bad things are happening all at the same time, and you sit there in the meeting and you don't even know where to start because there's so much that has gone wrong. That's where they're at. To be honest, and this is always going to be my knee-jerk reaction to, and just had this conversation with Grayson from Aftermath. You have teams that are trying. Their edge is sharp. Dynasty, Damage, Heat. They don't need to get any sharper. These guys need to make sure they don't break the sword. So when I talk to SK or Joey Blue, they're saying things like, we're practicing too much. I don't want these dudes to practice all that much. So we need to practice enough. Again, once you have a sharp blade, you need to keep it sharp. But if your blade is not sharp, then you need to hack a lot of material off to make sure that thing is going to be able to cut. And so when you're looking at the lower teams that are trying to work their way up to the level of top teams, and that happens with situational awareness drills. If I was coaching those teams, if I'm coaching the Bears, we are not playing points. We're going to it, and we're not doing it on a weekend. If you're once we get to the layout weekend, we're playing points on that. We need to figure it out. Every single weekend heading up to Cup, anyone that's down, show up playing points. If we get 4 fucking guys out there, we're still doing drills, and we're going to do very specific learning moments. I'm going to get my front players higher survivability by putting them in the deep water. I'm going to get my back players supporting whatever. There's so many different ways. That's, again, take a clinic and you will learn this stuff. But so that's kind of the issue there. What else do we got? We got to move
on. What do you think, speaking of Impact, what do you think about Axel leaving?
That's a hit, man. Just look at the last event, so they, been dealing back and forth past couple seasons, mouse, no mouse, mouse, no mouse, and then Zupa winning an MVP for one of their wins last year, and they won 2 in a row last year. One of them came California. Zupa was on fire. So do they have people that are capable of playing the snake? Absolutely. But the fact that at the last event he was their go-to guy on Sunday, and he balled out, man. Like he had a very above average weekend, even for an elite pro player. And obviously they didn't go as far as they wanted to. But yeah, that's a hit. That is absolutely a hit. Now, do they have somebody that could step up and pick up the slack? Yeah, they have guys that can play that spot. But I don't really see again, the way you can measure it is the last event. What did the Brain Trust decide to do for Impact? And you don't get on Impact unless you're an all-star. You have to be an all-star on another team to get the call in the offseason by Dave Baines to go to that squad. And yeah, Axel has been phenomenal for them. That's a negative. That is a negative for Edmonton Impact 100%, because they just gave him the start. So yeah, and he seemed fierce out there. You could see, I don't know if he knew that was heading into the event, but he played with some reckless abandon. He played tight. I mean, he played great. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a big. Again, that is a negative. When we go into Cup, now again, do they have guys who can do it? 100%.
Yes.
But that is not good.
Maybe it'll be a little light the fire a little bit. They're definitely having some issues, but maybe I could see those guys stepping up and playing well. I mean, dude, JC we were talking about. We're like, who's going to play the snake? And everybody's like, well, they've got Zupa, and JC can easily.
I was going to say
he'd be scary to play.
You almost could pull a name out of the hat on that team, and that guy could play the snake. Yeah. But there's the guys that he just mentioned, put those in a hat, pull one of them out, and that's going to have to be your guy. Now, also, we don't really know what the snake's going to look like. It could be a field where the D side is just as important as the snake side. Heading into this event, we constantly had Guys telling me, I tried to do my homework and talk to everyone about how the field's been playing the weekend before, and I just kept hearing about how, this is such a crucial snake. The DECAY was terrible, whatever. But DECAY was, as always, it was more crucial than the brain trust.
Yes.
A lot of the brain trust of paintball.
We could have done a little bit better.
Yeah.
With putting some more emphasis over there mid game to really push over there. Sal actually had a really good question here about long points part of the game. It's a little hard to watch. I know it's for you. Like imagine like that 1-0. So let me talk. That's why I'm gonna bring up this format concept because I've been testing it out pretty much at every clinic since we kind of came up with it. And let me just give you a quick little rundown. And I think I've done, like I said, I've done full matches now between teams at my clinics, and everybody seemed to like them. It's more exciting. So basically, this can be adjusted in any direction, but think of it as there's 3 periods. So there are 3. You have 3 rounds essentially. Each round, there you have 2 attempts at offense to score. Okay. If you score, it automatically switches. So basically, my team will have 2 attempts to score while you're defending.
Define 2 attempts at offense.
So basically, it's 5-on-5, 2-minute point, and I have to hit the buzzer within those 2 minutes. Otherwise we switch. We turn over on downs. So think of it as like football downs.
Okay.
Right. If I score, then you're up on offense next in that round. So the max is 2 minutes. So it's you're playing for 2 minutes, which means there's constant offense. There's constant action being played. Additionally, there's going to be we'll call it a red zone bunker, where if your team, if either one of the 2 teams, the offense or defense, controls it at the end of 2 minutes when time expires, then that team gets 1 point.
Okay.
But there still have to be players alive on either side. So that means that if you're on defense, essentially you could still be forced to attack. So you're still like, hey, we can, we shot 2 of them off the break. Let's go hold this 50-yard line bunker and. Yeah. So there's still constant movements. Sorry,
I think you got it, bro.
Dude,
wow, look at you, dog.
Yeah, still got
Murdered that mosquito. Trying to keep West Nile away from the group here. Appreciate that.
So
they can't get through my fur.
I believe it. They can get through mine. They fucking hammer me. So basically, you're always gonna have this constant attack.
Yeah.
And right now, like teams on defense, like defensive teams, you don't really see it a lot. I mean, Damage does it as soon as they're up by 1, but there's not like you're not like throwing out defensive plays like every single round where there's always like someone on offense, someone on defense. So you're always going to see different changes over there.
I'm down to see it played. That does sound interesting. I'm intrigued by, as I have been over time by changing things up. Look, I could, if we were on a debate team and you gave me, all right, Maddie, you got to argue it from the let's leave it alone side of things, I would do that. And I could do that. And then I could also argue it from the other side as well, too, because, yeah, dude, I mean, I don't know how many people watch literally every single point that's played out there every single weekend and then has to rewatch it all.
Yeah.
Sometimes multiple times. But I have to do that. And I love it. And I'm glad I love my job. But, yeah, dude, when I'm watching, an 8-minute point for the 3rd time because I'm trying to get very specifically who made what move and when so I can explain that 8-minute point. Or do I even need to explain it? Because sometimes you have to anyway, because it depends on what I'm creating. But yeah, I'm down to hear concepts because it's one of those things like, look at the UFC. So the UFC has changed rule. Every sport changes rules constantly. I said this during one of our during the live show, this last event, but Major League Baseball's been around for 140 years and ish, and they just made some drastic changes to some of the rules recently. So, but they're still playing baseball. So, with paintball, so with the UFC, there are a lot of ways a fight could go. Sometimes when you have 2 wrestlers fighting each other, or 2 jiu-jitsu guys, just based on the standings and who happens to be, if that's the match that is made, we will watch something that some of my friends call naked man wrestling, and then it's boring. It's literally... It's like watching paint dry for these guys. I don't mind that. I have done some jiu-jitsu. I've been watching the UFC since UFC 1, so I don't mind the different of styles. Right. Just like in paintball, I don't mind if we're watching a slower point as long as something is happening.
Sure.
As long as there is gunfights occurring. And that is just currently the way things, there was even some controversy about how Impact and X Factor were colluding on throwing a game. Not that people haven't thrown games in the past. I mean, I've played and thrown games before, so I understand how that works. But and we've changed the rules to try to avoid that. But that was just the way it worked. Was X Factor was up a point, and they knew that if they're about to win and they're fine. Okay, cool. We get in with 4 wins. Impact knew that if they lost by more than 2, they would potentially be out and Diesel would be in. So that's a no-brainer decision.
Yeah.
That's not collusion. That's just having to play the game intelligently to give your team a chance to move on in the tournament. So I can't begrudge them for some boring ass shit that we all had to endure. Where they got booed at the end of it, you know, and they didn't want to. They didn't want to do it. You know, I talked to the guys afterwards. They're like, we had to do what we had to do.
Yeah, to make it to Sunday.
You know,
I get it.
So anyway, because that's almost like a whole. We should probably at some point, at which we've had in-depth conversations for a long period of time about the game, what it needs, where it's come from, all these sorts of things. So, but that is a bit of a long conversation.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. I'll send you this like notes that I have.
Please
on
send
it.
me that because and I would always
it just creates endless offense.
I just want it has to be played. We can't just
Oh, absolutely.
Top
We can't just
down
be like
change rules.
Yes, 100%.
We've done this in the past where, where something gets changed and we don't really try it out a ton. Anyway, so I'm all for constructive conversation about moving things forward where it will make it more visually appealing, because and I had this conversation last time when we were discussing what does paintball need in order to become bigger than it currently is, and it because we do not have a spectacle of, because even with baseball, dude, like a couple times a year, a dude gets hit in the head with a baseball and goes to the hospital. A couple times a year, there's a collision in the outfield with 2 guys running into each other. And the baseball is not a contact sport, but that happens. A couple times a year, there's a benches clearing brawl where it's 28 on 28, and it's wild and crazy, So there still is, and then when dudes do hit a baseball, they're hitting that thing 500 feet sometimes, So there's enough of this spectacle that you never really know what's going to happen. With paintball, and I don't want people to go to the hospital, but if we're having a no bullshit conversation about what people actually watch and why they watch it, when you look at all of the major sports and what they are, I mean, again, and my dad loves tennis, but, and the dudes that play tennis and the girls that make tennis make millions of dollars, but it's not as popular as some other things.
Sure.
So anyway, but that's again kind of its own kind of conversation. But
here's my and I told Bart this. I was like, look, if you're gonna do something, please, you have to test it. There's got to be a test audience. You guys can't just change it like the PSP used to do. It's like true semi or 12 and a half balls, or we need to shorten the field. It was like, what are you guys talking about? Yeah. So two ideas, and I actually talked to Ryan from Paintball Trading Cards, who does the webcast for the WCPPL. So we have that one weekend, that kind of non-layout weekend. I think we're going to be practicing its Aftermath. One idea was set this format up there and have us in Aftermath. You come up for a Sunday and we'll film it and you can commentate it based on a couple of things and we'll play it and see if it's any fun. And, do 2 rounds of it and see.
Shit, we could throw it on Go Sports, bro.
Throw it on Go Sports, bro.
Yeah.
So there's that.
It'll be an exhibition. People would love to watch that.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I mean, it's close, it's easy. Yeah. We go up there, we'll explain the rules. I mean, it's pretty cut and dry.
Send me that, and then let's have a longer conversation about it. Because I'm down. I'm always down and have been for decades to entertain any idea that we can to try to move it forward for sure.
Yeah, because you were on part of that TV talk thing, and Bart was like, we got to change something. We got to do something. Something's got to change because it's just there are some points in matches that are really fun to watch, and there's some that aren't, and you just can't have you can't just possibly have like a bad field layout. So Florida this year was a tough field layout to commentate because there was another 1-0 game. There was like most games are 2-1, and it looked, when you see the field layout, you're like, dude, this is gonna be a fun field.
Yeah.
Oh wait, it's so easy to make it snake one, and that guy can shoot this way, and this guy can shoot this way, and now there's.
Trust me, dude, it gets really, really, really tough to do my job when I have to sit up there and call an 8-minute point where everyone stays in the same spot for 5 minutes. No one has any paint, and they're just head checking each other. I mean, no one's even shooting their gun. I mean, it's
it's terrible. So
Yeah.
I would love to have
Love
a
to
sport
get something
where we
new.
don't have to do that, you know. So yeah, I'm down. Absolutely, for sure. All right, what other questions do we got?
Yeah.
here?
Does anybody else have any other questions?
Well, there was a bunch. There was a
Yeah,
bunch
there were a
in
bunch.
there.
There were a bunch. I got Book of the Week. Jordan Jackson asked for it.
Oh, book of the week.
Now you're talking. Now you're talking Maddie's language. If you didn't think you were already.
Well, I'm working on a. I think I told you this before. I can't remember if I told it on the show, but I'm gonna start a history storytelling podcast.
Yes, you did say that.
Yeah, so I'm still working on that. First subject is Midway, so I'm working on episode
Midway. 1.
Yeah, the Battle of Midway. I'm working on that right now. So I've been reading a lot of books about that, but I kind of took a break because I was just it was just a lot of the Battle of Midway for me. So I had to read about 7 books to kind of wrap my head around that story because it's that's the second most complicated naval battle ever fought, and it's arguably, if it's not the most important part of World War II, is definitely one of the most. Anyway, so that will be coming at you guys at some point soon. But I started reading this book about Mao.
Okay.
In communist China.
Yep.
Jesus fucking Christ. I have never, ever, ever read a more negative book on a historical figure in my entire life. And it was written by the woman who, she grew up in communist China. And
well, he was a pretty not great guy.
Well, it depends on who
I guess who
you
you
talk
talk
to,
to.
you know. So yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Not my first time touching the subject of Mao and communist China, but this specific book, and this woman obviously has a bone to pick because, but this woman she's an intellectual. She wrote a very successful book before that. And then she's the very first Chinese woman to ever go to England and get a PhD. This woman is a brilliant thinker, and fucking hates Mao like Jesus hates Satan, dude, you know? And she talked to hundreds of people for like 2 decades to create this book. Bro, it is like reading a Machiavellian sociopath's journey to power. Bro, it's heavy, dude. It's like hard to read because it's just so bloodthirsty and disgusting and horrible, and it's just so check that book out if you would like some nightmares.
What's it called?
It's Mao. I'm trying to remember the name of it, or the name of the woman that wrote it. It's escaping me right now, but I could figure it out real quick. But yeah, that one's gnarly. Maybe there's something a little bit more light.
Yeah, give the viewers something right. You know, everybody watches the Spick and Span show, so it's not like where we need incredibly. We don't want to read 7 books on the Midway. Just give us like a light, fun.
The Midway's dope, bro.
I know the Midway.
Fucking battle was insane, dude. Like,
let's tell us a little bit about it. Like what's
the Battle of Midway?
Tell us.
What was dope about the Battle of
I
Midway?
didn't say that. I said tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, well, so
let's just keep if we were to like
the short description of this, arguably like the second most complicated naval battle ever fought was that
was the first?
In early June. The Battle of Lafayette Gulf was bigger. That was a bigger, more complex battle that happened a little bit later on in the Pacific Theater, but it basically Japan was whooping that ass. They were fucking everyone up in the Pacific, just laying waste, salting the earth with anyone that came up against them. For the first part of 41, Pearl Harbor, and then going to 42, and then and they're just taking over this huge swath of the Pacific, of the Western Pacific, and so they looked unstoppable. At the same time, Germany was also, they'd already taken over most of Europe and were fighting the Soviet Union. But, so essentially you had a situation where in early June of 42, the Axis powers were winning. After about a 20-minute time period, they were no longer winning. And that's because of some heroic deaths from some American aviators, and where we went into a situation where we had cracked their code. This really eccentric genius had cracked the Japanese code, so we knew that they were going to try to invade the island of Midway, which is northwest of Hawaii. It is it's a great name, it's the middle of nowhere. And so there was a a battle before that where one of our carriers looked like there was no way that it could make it out, but it limped back to Hawaii. And the Japanese also had a carrier that was messed up too. They figured that they couldn't fix theirs, and Admiral Nimitz rolled into the shipyard in Hawaii, looked at the carrier and asked his engineers, he's like, how long would it take to get this thing ready to go again and battle ready? And they said 3 months, 6 months maybe, top, like the quickest we could do. He's like, you have 3 days. So 1,600 men, 24 hours a day, with no plans of how to do it, got that thing battle ready. So that's the only reason we had 3 carriers versus their 4. But we knew they were coming. And we had the unsinkable carrier that was Midway Island itself. And those dudes went to Midway Island think that they were just all going to die. Because there's... And so... And it's... And anyway, so the first episode is about... it's calling it the Flight of the Avengers. And so it was this new torpedo plane that we had just put into service. The guys had literally just flown it from the East Coast to the West Coast to Hawaii to Midway. And all of them were about to fly to their deaths. Only one of them made it out alive. And to tell the story, his name is Bert Ernest. And he found a $2 bill on the ground the day before he took off.
No way.
On Midway Island. And he kept that in his wallet until the day he died in old age. Anyway, so there's this, it's a crazy story of heroics and historical turning points and just, you know, it's crazy, bro. It's insane. But, yeah, so, I mean, I could continue to go on, but yeah, it's, yeah, lots of just crazy heroic deaths, just insane twists of fate, just shit that if you wrote it into a novel and it wasn't history, you'd be like, that's total bullshit. So anyway, yeah, the torpedo planes absolutely got demolished, but they weren't bait. They weren't bait. They ended up being bait, but they didn't think they were going to be bait. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. The Devastators, not devastating. But they left the skies open for dive bombers. This dude, whoever this dude is,
Steve,
definitely,
you know Steve Segovia? He's at every single event with us, like for years. He's the man. Yeah, you guys, you'd have a good chat with him.
Yeah,
Steve's on it, dude. He's on it. Everything. He's got. He knows. Like he's great.
Yeah. So anyway,
is that where the story of the $2 bill being so lucky started?
No, I don't think so. I don't.
$2 bills are supposed to be good luck for fortune. It's like good for fortune. I keep a $2 bill in my wallet.
Chris Soy gave me $2 bill once that I still have.
Yeah, my aunt used to give me. I got a bunch of them.
Yeah,
my aunt would give them to me.
All right, so let's get into So I gotta get going here soon. I'm not trying to get yelled at by my wife, but we got a couple more. So a couple more questions here. There were a couple.
Yeah, there were. Someone was asking about NYX. Like I didn't write it down exactly, but they were saying, you know, what is it going to take for NYX just to get over that hump?
Well, they need to put Jerry Caro in some sort of like protective custody, so he like can't drive a car, can't get anything in his regular life, nothing can go wrong. Like they need to
protective custody.
Put him in like a condo in Manhattan somewhere.
What is it when those really what like just like not a life coach, but you know when you sign like there was that baseball player. I think you know who this guy is. He was like a pitcher and he was like a raging addict, and he had to have a personal helper human be with him at all times because the second he was like left
Trevor
alone.
Bauer?
I don't know. I think he was a pitcher and he just like
there's a lot
he had
of
like tattoos like from neck everywhere like fully.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
There's probably being a handful of these, but yeah, basically you have to handle her, and you need to like make sure that.
Well, the thing is, it's not even all. It's not like Jerry's fault necessarily because.
I know.
He got a car accident.
Driver.
Yeah. Like, he caught in a car accident and almost cut his tongue off with his own teeth. This is just recently. We just had a lot going on, you know? So, but Jerry is a big part of their push. So, but they didn't have Jerry, and then Will stepped in event 3, and they still made Sunday. I mean, dude, you look at their numbers. I haven't, we'll crunch all of their numbers on the Go Sports Live show here coming up pretty soon. But if you're just looking at how they've done, I mean, just seriously, like, just look at their plus minuses.
You were telling me this. They have close to ours, right?
Well, first of all, they've only lost 2 games in the prelims. One of them was to 1 point by Uprising in event number 1. You were the only other team to beat them in the prelims. Period. That's it. End of story all year long. So then, and if we're going back to how they were last year, this is a team that almost got relegated. They were, you know, they were terrible last year, and so not a ton of player changes. Obviously, Harris leaves and goes to Russians, and then. Ends up on Notorious, and he actually has been playing pretty decent for Notorious. But they're getting to a point where they're just really, really, really good. Yeah, so, event number 1,
they're a +5. That was actually the closest they had all year long, essentially, or at least for the next two events. Where they end up at the last one, +5 at the last one. So +5 is the worst they've done. That's event wide, including their losses on Sundays. Lost Uprising by 1, and then lost you guys by 1 at the first event, and then they go on at the second event, and they're sitting at 4th overall after the second event, a 5th place there, undefeated in the prelims, murdering people, beat up on MO Kings, beat up on the Ironman, beat up on Level, beat the Bears by 2, lose to Heat by 1, +14 for event number 2. Then they go to the third event of plus minus was actually the best of them all. They ended up with a +19, 29 points for, 9 against. Beat Revel by 4, Mercy ruled Aftermath, shut out the Saints, Mercy rule, beat Impact by 4, and then lose to X Factor by 1 on Sunday. You know, so then we get to
lots of 1 point.
Yeah, and then they get to the fourth event, and you guys beat them up. That's really the only true ass whooping that New York Extreme has had all year long was by Dynasty in the prelims in the last game. They won their first 3 games. The Notorious game was not close, won by 4, beat Uprising by 1, beat MO Kings by 3, and then lost you guys. And then they kind of beat up on Infamous a little bit. Infamous was chasing. They didn't beat them up. That game was actually pretty close. It was in the rain Sunday morning, 7-4 though final score, and then lose to X Factor by 1, dude. Like, New York Extreme is... They're one of the best teams out there right now, man. Like, you can't argue that. I would be down, you can argue anything, but I'd be down to argue with anyone about that. They just need a little bit more time and a little belief in themselves. When you look at all the mistakes they've made, even with that record, it's still a decent amount of mistakes, but they find a way to recover. They're playing scrappy, aggressive paintball, tight when they need to be. They're dope in the scramble. They throw haymakers when they need to. I could spend a while talking about them. They're good, dude. They're really good. What do they need? More time and a little bit more confidence.
I've got this is a good. Bobby had a good question, but who do you think would be like top pickups from the bottom 10 teams? Like if say and I know this is more of after World Cup.
One of them already happened.
Who? What?
Weaver. Elliot Weaver is really good.
Who grabbed him?
He went to Revo.
Oh right.
And he won a 1-on-2 and a 3-on-1.
Did he get his coins?
Or a 1-on-3?
You hook him up with the coins.
He always comes to get his coins. Always. Now Weaver's dope. Weaver, well, because people are like, "Oh, I'm underrated. I'm underrated," and I'm like, "Bro, you may be underrated."
People say that to you?
Sometimes, yeah.
Shit.
I would still get people to be like, "Oh,
I'm
dude,
underrated, dog."
You are not fucking underrated. But yeah, Elliot Weaver is legit underrated. Came up with Boom. They got their asses kicked for a long time. Dude stayed around. I mean, he was good there, but never like a huge standout. Not someone that when people ask me in the offseason, like, hey, who should we be going after? I'm like, he was not that guy. But he just keeps getting better and better and better and better and better and better. Like he is the most. I feel like Elliot Weaver is the most underrated dude for the casual fan in all of pro paintball right now.
Yeah,
bro, he just won a 1-on-2 and a 1-on-3 at the last event, and has won a decent amount of those before. He's just a stud too. He's so good. So yeah.
Okay, well, there's number 1.
That would be the biggest pick if anyone that wants. But he also doesn't need the money. This is not a dude that needs a ton of money. So like his life is set, doesn't need money. So it's like good luck trying to get Weaver on your squad. But he left Energy because he just didn't want to run the same game plan over and over and over and over again. And then
what's that game plan? Bonus ball?
Well, no.
If you can't beat him, bonus ball.
Yeah, and then anyway, but yeah. So then Elliot Weaver's dope. So that would be one pickup. Let's see. Who else do I feel is ready? Because, to me, that question is that who's ready for like the big time? Like ready to who? Like, are we talking like a top team that would be picking this dude up?
Yeah, I mean, like a top 10 team would be.
So we're talking
top 5 team. Which teams?
What bottom teams?
Let's say
because Diesel's at 10th, Revo's at 11th, and Legion's at 12th. So if we're talking Bears, because then it's Aftermath 13th, Energy 14th, Level 15th, Bears 16th.
I would say that the Russians would be the biggest upset, I think, I wouldn't call it an upset. I guess I would call it the biggest disappointment.
Yeah. For sure. The biggest disappointment this year by far, and it's not even close as far as their roster is Legion. 19th, 11th, 15th, and okay, finally you guys make a Sunday.
Yeah.
And I don't mean this with any disrespect. I have a lot of respect for that organization. They've been playing this game for a long time, and they've been very successful.
Which is why that's why I say this.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like they're going through a rebuilding phase where they kind of are, but like they've got 5 guys that are really good and have all won world championships. That's why I'm wondering what happened?
It's really simple. You got a war going on in Russia and Ukraine.
Yeah, true.
It's a lot harder.
Distractions.
There's a lot of stuff going on over there. It's been really hard to get visas for the Russian guys to come over here. And then it's also been harder to get the entire team together to practice as a squad. So that's kind of been what I've been told from guys in that program. And it showed. You know, I mean, if you look at, their performance at the first event was abysmal. It was so bad, dude. I mean, they took second to last.
Yeah.
They lost. The only team they beat was the Saints, and that was a close game. It was 3-2. And the Saints have been obviously the worst team in the league by far this year. Legion was a -9 at that 8 points for 17 against. They lost to you guys by 3. They lost to X Factor by 2. Got beat up by Infamous 3-8, and then beat the Saints by 1. That was their first event, and it didn't get much better moving forward until the last event. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, dude, the first day especially, it looked really good the first day. You guys were able to knock them out. But, it
wasn't easy.
No, they were, and that was a decently close game, 4-2. Just rewatched that game yesterday. But, yeah, it's just, the biggest disappointment on roster and name and legacy is Legion this year, and it's not even close. Other than the next closest one would be Diesel. Diesel's been a giant disappointment. So I went kind of crunched the numbers on Dynasty's overall record plus minus for the year, and your like overall points for how many points you scored and how many points were scored against you, and then who you beat and who you lost to. But then I did the same for Diesel because I thought I didn't know Spick was going to be sick, so I thought it would be interesting to kind of compare and contrast. But for you guys, like, just look at all the teams you played this year and beat. Look at that big ass long list.
You can wear it.
I mean, basically, Dynasty played, and this doesn't always work out that way because look at Diesel's list; it's a lot shorter. Mm-hmm. And so you look at a situation where Dynasty this year has beat Legion twice. They beat the Saints, Infamous, beat X Factor twice. This is where it kind of gets interesting with X Factor, though. That's been, I wouldn't say your nemesis, but that's been on paper your biggest rival this year. You beat New York Extreme twice. You beat Damage twice. You beat Notorious twice. You beat Heat twice. You beat Uprising twice, ML Kings twice, you beat the Hurricanes, you beat the Bears, Energy, Level, and Impact. The only 3 teams that Dynasty has lost to this year has been Infamous in a 2-4 game, Heat in a 4-5 game, and X Factor twice. You guys have only lost 4 games all year long. That's impressive. And you've lost X Factor twice.
Yeah.
So that's your rival this year. Because you're
X
2-2.
Factor, those guys, man.
Now you have gone 2-1 against Heat. And then 1-1 versus Infamous. So, but you've played X Factor 4 times this year.
Yeah.
And you've gone back and forth with them. So that's kind of a cool story, depending on how things shake out.
Our nemesis, our rivals.
Yeah. But then your overall record is 23-4. Your plus minus is nasty, dude. Plus 65 on the year.
All right.
That's really good. And then 113 points for, 48 against. If we look at Diesel's situation, again, superstar roster, their overall record is 7-10. So they've, lost 3 more games than they've won. But sitting on a +3 with 56 points for and 53 against, which is kind of indicative of where they keep getting as far as their overall ranking, because they've gone 1-3, but they've also gone a lot of 2-2. They went 3-1 when they at the third event. Third event was by far AC Diesel's best event. 12th, 13th, 8th, and 11th for Diesel. 10th overall right now, because there's been a lot of up and down, except for like the top teams. But if you look at who they've beat and who they've lost to, they haven't played as many teams in the league as you guys have played. They've beaten Revo once, and they've lost to Revo once. They're 1-1 against Revo. They've beaten Legion once and lost to Legion once. They've beaten Uprising, they beat X Factor, they beat Infamous, they beat Saints, and they've beat Level. But they've lost to the Ironman, close game, Hurricanes 3 times. So the nemesis for AC Diesel this year with their hype, this is an interesting story for Paintball. You got the highest paid team in the league, essentially, and then you have a pro team that is balling on a budget, with no big owner and no tons of money, and everyone has a regular ass job, and they make it work. And they have beat Diesel 3 times this year in very close games. Every game has been by 1 point.
Whoa.
So now they've also lost, because it's another thing too, because when teams are like, well, here's your record, that doesn't tell the whole story, obviously. But it's who did you beat, who did you lose to, right?
Right.
You know, because when we're talking about an up and coming
Yeah,
team,
and you gotta create. Yeah.
Can you beat a big team? Can you who are you beating, who are you losing to? So when you're looking at Diesel, so the teams they've lost to, again, Ironman, who was bottom of the barrel, not bottom, but at
a
the
couple
bottom.
people were asking about them.
Yeah, which we could get to in a bit. Gonna have to take off eventually here.
I've heard that for the last 2 hours.
Yeah. But yeah. So again, and we're looking. It's been, look, Uprising has not been great this year. Infamous has been hit or miss. Saints have been terrible. Level's been terrible. Legion mostly terrible. Rebel's been hit or miss. Beginning terrible. Most recently pretty damn good. But so that's who they beat. Who they lost to, again, Ironman, Hurricanes 3 times, Heat twice. Diesel has not beat Heat this year. Diesel has not beat Damage this year. Again, 1-1 with Revo and 1-1 with Legion. But they haven't played a ton of paintball because they haven't made a lot of Sundays. So 7-10 overall, +3, 56.44, and 53 against. If you want to listen to the rest of those, tune into my show. A couple weeks, we'll see when that's going to go down. But yeah. So anyway, but it's what was that? What was the other question?
What are the Iron? This would be the last one, right? Because what do you think the Ironman? What's the problem with Ironman? What's going on with them? What do they need? What is it?
The Ironman. They need to just buy in, man. It's
Buy in.
Yeah. Well, here's the situation. So they have a massive roster. They've had a massive roster, and then they have a pretty big coaching staff now. Do you think it's too much on the coaching?
Well, too many people.
This is one of those situations where it could appear so because they haven't done very well. But I would say no, because if you have, you have Nikki doing predictive analytics. She's really good at that. She crunches numbers. Okay. That's what she does. Nikki's not going to be the one that's like, she can get in the huddle and do that. And she ran the team a couple years before. But when you bring a Shane Pestana in, who has never touched the Ironman and not been successful.
Right. When
he was a player back in the early to mid 90s, up and coming phenom, like, dude, he was a paintball phenom at like 15, 16. He was one of the first ones ever. Going out there with no face mask, just shooting old men in the woods, looking like Doogie Howser from like an 80s TV show. And he was lethal as like.
I like how you have to reference it as an 80s TV show because nobody knows what
Doogie
no one knows
now. Everyone knew it back then because it was super famous.
Yeah.
That's where what's his name came from. Super famous.
Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah, Neil Patrick Harris. That's where he started. It's a kid star. Anyway, so. And then Shane was a coaching captain with us when we won the title and won tournaments in the late 90s and early 2000s. And then he retired and then came back and touched it again. Sure enough, boom, magic happens when Oliver came in and they rebuilt the Ironman in the mid to late 2000s. They won then. And then he went, did the royalty thing, still wanted to play. That became a pro team. He did that, retired again. He's been in and out. So now he's coming back. But he's coming into a situation where Nikki was running that team. He's bringing Mike in to help him as well, too. So, sure, in the beginning, maybe too many cooks in the kitchen, but all those people know what they're doing.
Sure.
Nikki does her thing really well, and she gives you pertinent information that can definitely make or break situations. And then you have Mike, who been there, done that. He's a really vocal, alpha male dude. Like, he's a leader. And then Shane, been there, done that, again, proven. They bring up all these dudes who are... most of those dudes, not the first time they've seen the pro field, but it's kind of a Survivor Island situation, and not everyone handles that really well. But you have to know that going in. When I was playing with Shane back in the day, he would always come up to me and say things like, "Maddie, I love you. You need to believe in yourself, and also the action's sharp. We will cut you in a second if you don't get out there and kill people. This is just how it is." And then you have to deal with that. And and if you can't survive mentally in that situation, then it is what it is, dude. So anyway, paintball hasn't changed that much, dude. Like, look at who's still winning. You guys are winning 20 years ago. You're winning now. And if you look at who is still really good, a lot of it is a lot of the veterans dudes. Like, look at all these Damage. Okay, so it's you and Damage right now heading into World Cup. You guys have both won 2 events. They had a blow up at the second event with the 10th place. Other than that, it's you and Damage right now. Right. So and. Who has some of the most veteran experience in the entire league? You and Damage.
Yeah.
When was the last time that a team won 3 events in a row? It was Damage. 13 years ago.
Yeah,
you know,
it was us, and then
well, now you guys, but then it was damage before that. My point is, you got a bunch of dudes out there, 35, 40 years old, still getting it done at the top level. The game has not changed that much. So
we're actually gonna have Jason Edwards on next week.
Tight.
Talk a little
Jason's
bit about
awesome.
Yeah,
Dude. Yeah. I mean, they're just slaughtering arena. Those guys are masterful too. So
Yeah.
anyway, but it's and so with the Ironman, they're just to me it's a bunch of guys out there trying a little too hard, because a bunch of guys are just there's deaths all over the place, dude. Deaths out of their spots, deaths in 50s trying to. It's just like I need everyone to chill out 10%, and I would again goes back to the situational wellness drills. I would be doing a lot of very specific situation drills with those guys to make sure that they understand what they're supposed to do, because everyone keeps making mistakes where.
Well, you know, let me just real quick, because I think, well, I don't know, right? I do believe that, like you said, that whole the axe is sharp. They've got a lot of dudes, but I don't know that is the most successful recipe. Is this trial by fire, and if you're messing up, and I'm going to get this guy in, and then because their roster has changed pretty much every event. Sometimes there's a guy, he's having a kid, or this guy's here, or this guy's other problem, and then he's not going to be here, and then he's in here, and
well, they also have an East Coast West Coast thing going.
Yeah,
on,
and then they got the East Coast West Coast thing, and
back then it was all California guys.
Right. And it's interesting too, because I watched some of their games, and I'm like, to me, I feel like they had no idea how to play the field. Yeah. Like they literally were doing. They didn't have anybody looking Dorito way. They had guys looking heads up from the Dorito side, but you can't see anything. And then they had one guy on the snake side, and it was like, I don't know, because I haven't been in their pits. I've kind of talked to a couple of their guys too, and I'm like, you know, when this is going on, do you guys say anything? They're like, no, we don't want to say anything, because I want to keep my head down and, you know, chop wood, carry water. I don't want to get cut.
Yeah, but that's not how you.
I know, but I think I think that is somehow the mentality on the team is, I don't know if I'm going to be here tomorrow, so I don't want to mess up, and I definitely don't want to go against the grain by saying, by questioning.
Those guys are not
questioning
playing
the authority.
Scared. They're playing too loose.
Right.
They're making dumb mistakes. Mm-hmm. You know, so it's like, it's not a bunch of guys hiding in their spots and dying, getting run down and losing shitty gunfights. I'm not saying they're not losing shitty gunfights. They definitely are. But it's that you got a bunch of guys that are out there trying to, you know, play that aggressive brand of paintball that, you know, Shane wants to see them play. But again, it's also just going to take them some time. I feel like they definitely should be doing better than they have.
How much time do you think they have? I mean, they're not going to get relegated this year thanks to the Saints.
Yeah, because the Saints are so bad.
Now, here, this is Sal mentioned this one, and we'll just kind of transition out of this. What do you think of this? Obviously not for this year, but the bottom team gets relegated, the top team in semi-pro goes on. What if the 19th place team has to play the second place team semi-pro in a fucking winner-take-all bout?
I'm down, but that needs to be like a 30-minute game. Like straight 30 minutes, bro. Like it needs to be a fucking war. Yeah, it needs to be
like the Ironman would have to play, like, for right now, if the dust settled now, blast camp, like
30 minutes,
like 30-minute match,
or like a best of 3.
Yeah.
It's an all-day thing
with a 5-minute.
It's an all.
You guys got to stay till Monday, and we're just duking it out.
You got to play a best of 3 full X-ball matches.
Yeah, with 5-minute breaks in between
to earn your keep. Look, I'm always going to err on the side of entertainment, because again, you know, we're out here with paintball trying to make the world think that this is a fun and cool thing, and also that it's spectator friendly and that you want to be able to consume it while you're not, even when you're not playing it. So dude, that would be tight.
Okay.
Final
question.
They're not going to want to do
Final
that.
question.
They're not going to want to do that.
Sean beat me to it. Who would win in that?
Between
Blast
the Ironman
Camp
and Blast
and
Camp?
Ironman.
With the way that the
what do you
Ironman
guys think? Throw in the comments right now.
I mean, let's just look at the numbers.
Let's look at the numbers. Run it.
Yeah, I mean, the Ironmen have been very, very subpar. The last event, they lost every single game. Mm-hmm. They lost to Revo, Impact, Energy Elite, and X Factor.
That's a hard bracket for them.
Yeah, -9. Lost by 3 to Revo. Lost by 2 to Impact. Lost by 1 to Energy, and lost by 3 to X Factor. And then you go to the next one. Lost every game at the last event before that, too. Got beat up by the Hurricanes. Mercy ruled. Lost to Heat by 5. Notorious ML Kings.
They lost to ML Kings?
Yeah, they lost to ML Kings. I'm trying to see if they play the Saints. Because that would be a kind of a... Even though I think that...
No, because I don't think Saints have won a game yet.
Yeah.
Year. Or then maybe they won one.
I mean, the Ironman went 2-2 at the second event. Beat the Bears by 2. Beat Level by 1.
There we go.
Lost to Energy Elite lost to New York Extreme by 3, and they got blown out by the Ammo Kings in the last game. To be honest, the way the Ironman looked bad at the last event. Blast Camp has been very impressive. That's a dumb question. Thank you for your $10 though. Yeah, no, I'll address that in a second. But no, the Ironman have that would honestly, to be honest, that might be a game. I'd have to take the Ironman because they've been playing the pros all year long. Yeah. And the semi-pros are good, but they are definitely not at the same level as the pros are. It just is what it is.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Yeah, so I would have to take if I was betting on it, I would take the Ironman. I don't know what the over would under would be. But yeah, the Ironman have a lot of work to do. They know it. I talked to Shane. He came up and did some games with us, and everyone's frustrated over there, obviously. Yeah. To be honest, Dai needs to go after a couple players. I mean,
yeah.
They have the ability to do it, and if they really do truly care about the legacy of the longest running pro team in existence and don't want them to be second to last place.
I agree.
And then also, because with Fit coming in, like Fit's pretty good. So
where do you think they would rank if they were to play World Cup with us? Well, if they were to be in the league right now.
It's tough to tell. We already saw them in there, and they weren't
bottom 10.
Yeah,
top 10. Well, yeah, but that was 4 years ago.
It would be bottom 10.
Okay.
They would be bottom 10. They need a little bit more offensive punch.
Okay.
They need Fit. They need a little more offensive punch. They have some. Chavez is really good, but it can't just be Chavez. You know? And I'm not saying that's the only guy they got, but if you're gonna go swim the deep water, you need to come with as many warriors as you possibly can get. Look, they've done an amazing job. They've won every single semi-pro event. Yeah. So, and then what was the dude said that? What was it?
Royalty.
Bro, Royalty. That was a passion project for Shane, dog. That was a passion project. I mean, look, I don't know if Shane could do it again. He's definitely dealing with a different group of people. We'll see. And also before it was like when he won with the Ironman as a player, it was all the savages from Northern California. Those crazy dudes on the OG Ironman. And then he got all of us young savages when we were they were cherry picking the best dudes in California when we built that team in the late 90s. Mm-hmm. And then they paid all over $100,000 a year to come to his team and gave dudes gun deals when they built that team there. So, I mean, Shane needs some help from management. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, Shane can't just come in here. I mean, like, yeah, I love Shane. I'm definitely biased towards Shane because I've seen what he can do. But, yeah, sure. To your point, yeah, he takes the Royalty dudes and they come in, yeah. But that wasn't the Ironman. That was like Royalty. Anyway, he needs some help. This is a pro sport, dog. Like, you need talent.
You do.
You can't just roll in.
You can't just roll in and be like, hey, 5 schmucks or 10 schmucks. Nah, like, I'm the best coach in the world. Nah, I'll make you guys. Yeah, you're right. It does need.
Coaching helps, but I mean, it does.
And they've got talent, man. They've got talent.
Does one ingredient, not a recipe, make? You know what I'm saying? I mean, you need to have a lot going on here to persevere and to succeed and become elite in this sport. It is very fucking hard. So.
Oh, there we go. Mike's in the chat. Shout out to the Sushi, dude, the man,
bro. I'm so deliciously full right now. Thank you so much.
Maddie didn't think it was real. He's like, yeah, sure, you got sushi, and I sent him a picture.
Well, I mean, he was like, hey, I got
the show catered. I got
the show catered with some sushi.
That's right.
And then, because he'll tell me I got beers for you, and then that doesn't always materialize. So I thought he was just totally bullshit. And then on the drive over here, I see a screenshot of this delicious display, and I was like, I thought you were bullshit, bro.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, no, it was great.
That's right. Dude, solid.
Yeah, it was good. Good 2 hours.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming in.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Well, it's always a pleasure that you come out here. I think it's fun. Everybody loves it. Lots of fan interaction. I know people are going to download this one for weeks to come to listen to all this.
No, I love doing the show, man. I'm always down when I can. Super fun. There's a lot going on. Obviously, I'm headed to ICPL next weekend. We'll have a show, Go Sports, that'll be live. What does suck that I have to miss DECAY Nations. That's gonna be dope. If you guys can make it out, go play with the Dynasty guys there. We're gonna have some shows coming at you. We'll be breaking down more of the numbers and kind of see how things are gonna look with the European teams coming in. And we got some time before Cup. I'd be down to come down and do another show if you guys want.
Anytime.
I would like some IPAs on tap.
We got you, dude. IPAs on tap,
Okay.
sushi, fresh sushi, fresh.
The sushi was a pleasant surprise.
It was insane.
That was a pleasant
And don't worry, Kyle. I saved you some. It's on ice right here. I got my little cooler bag, not filled with beers. Next time you come, though, we'll hit this German.
Yeah, hit the moonshine.
Harte Nuss.
Hot the noose.
Yeah, I don't know. Looking at this thing. It says O'Donnell, so it doesn't really seem like it's very. So this is from one of the refs out there.
It looks official.
It looks official.
Bro.
I mean, you want to try some right now?
Not really. I gotta drive home.
König Haselin mit feiner Kamelnot macht diesen Moonshine as Moonshine.
Anyone out there speak German? How's this German?
You know,
sound too
I think
good
it's
on
like
this
a little
end,
hazelnut with finer caramel notes and macht diesen Moonshine as
You gave that a good old college
Dude,
try.
it was
That
good.
was actually pretty good. I'm not even gonna try it because
Dude, Schwarzenegger Brandenturm. Worde del illegal alcohol.
Illegal?
What do you think? Worde del illegal
I mean,
alcohol
that looks,
der
I don't speak German, but that looks
Ah.
like it says illegal.
American Nightshine prohibit general. So it looks like it's illegal in America.
Okay.
If
Or
I'm-
that it used to be illegal.
Oh, okay.
Maybe there's like
there's
a
worded-
past tense situation.
Yeah,
going
they're
on
talking
here.
about the moonshine.
Yeah.
Yeah, O'Donnell Moonshine, bring it, de Gemnenschaft der Alten Siet, Zurk.
I'll tell you what though, because anytime someone says moonshine, I get a little fearful since typically moonshine's like firewater, but this is only
Yeah,
50
this is
proof.
weak sauce, dude.
25%. That's like
That's like a
wine's
that's
at
like
12.
Old, that's like
Wine's
an
at
old
12.
wine.
That's
yeah.
like that's
It's like 2 glasses of wine.
yeah. That's I mean
12 and a half plus 12 and a
yeah.
half, 25.
Yeah.
Shit. How's that math, Matt?
carry the
Kyle.
7 and then
Yeah,
the
this
square
is
root of
yeah. It doesn't even seem like it's made in Berlin. Yeah.
super down to try it next time.
Yeah.
Thank you for
I'll keep the cap on
hooked
here.
up Ryan.
Yeah, thank you to the German refs out there. Right when he took a picture, he's like, "Let's take a picture," and I grabbed it, and he went like this. Just gave me the old European out.
Did he give
Yeah.
you the out?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Well, and for a couple people that asked, like, what beers do I drink? I love IPAs. I like delicious beers, pale ales, stouts, that sort of thing. This one is a local San Diego beer, old school, the original San Diego from back in the day, Carl Strauss. I don't know if it's gonna pick it up. Yeah, there you go, Carl Strauss.
there you go.
A little lighter in the alcohol, super delicious, but big fan. Let's try it out if you get a chance.
try it out. All right,
Cool, bro.
Well, cool, man. I'm gonna because the show's a little long today, I'm gonna go ahead and do some wheel spinning here for you guys on the side as I close everything out. I will put the names of the winners in the chat here on the side, just so we can get Maddie on out of here and we can get you guys on your way as well. I'm gonna be giving away an HK Army laser kit, a couple of Gen X pod caddies. I've got a shirt pack, also some Matrix gear. We've got these cool little Matrix shirts here behind us, helping to keep the lights on. Shout out to Matrix Gear, HORMESIS, and Gen X Global, and obviously HK. Also, Maddie, here's the book here. This is coming out. I think you get your pre-order on.
Kyle made the
Yeah, Kyle made the delivery. This is cool, you know. Just a little story about young Cooper.
Yeah.
Today's his finally big day. Here he is playing some paintball. Obviously rocking a Field 1 Force, duh. You know, not having the best day out there at the field.
Should we read the beginning of it?
Yeah, you want to read a little bit?
Yeah, sure. A Dragon's Journey to Dynasty.
Oh, let's hear. Hold on. Yeah, we'll send it off here for a little bit here. Let me. Tighter. Hold on. Not yet.
Experiences every day.
All right, let's bring this mic a little closer to you. All right. Take us to sleep, Maddie.
The big day is finally here. Young Cooper dreamed about trying out for the paintball team, Dynasty. He knew that today was his day, and he was just so excited to play. Heading onto the paintball field, the nerves kicked in. All he wanted to do was fit in. During the first point, Cooper couldn't keep his head in the game. It was really starting to affect his aim. The rhyming's pretty good on this one. While getting ready for the next point, he heard a voice. Was that coming from the sun? The voice said, "Remember, paintball is all about having fun." As the tryout went on, Cooper kept getting hit because the other players were so much faster. Today started to feel like a disaster. While sitting in the pits wiping off his hits, Cooper started to lose hope. Wait, what was that? The voice was back. Stay positive, and let's turn this around. In the game of paintball, luck can always be found. He looked all over, under his gear bag, even inside his hopper. Cooper still couldn't find the voice. It was a bit of a shocker. The next time Cooper was on the field, he heard it again. He trusted the voice and ran all the way to the snake. This was it. The tryout was at stake. Cooper eliminated 3 players and won the point. One player even gave him a high five. He was starting to feel alive. As the tryout was ending, Cooper started to say goodbye because he didn't think that he made the cut. It was then that he felt the butterflies in his gut. Hey Cooper, nice to meet you. I'm Ryan Greenspan of San Diego Dynasty. You showed some hard work and never gave up today. That looks like a younger version of you, but he has way more wrinkles than
this one right here.
Yeah, that's a very young and sprightly Ryan Greenspan. Cooper couldn't believe he was talking to his hero. Is that your little spirit animal?
See, he's got a little bit more gray on.
He's got a little.
I made sure he changed that up a little bit
of some spirit animal going on right here. Cooper couldn't believe he was talking to his hero. I kept hearing this voice. That's your inner dragon, Cooper. All of us on Dynasty have it. Before he could even think, Ryan continued to speak. When you listen to your inner dragon, you push yourself to do. Because of that, you wanted to make your dream come true. Dynasty would like to offer you a spot. Right then and there, Cooper knew that this was his shot. This is the cameo from the rest of everyone else. Ryan's one of the main characters in this. Everyone else gets a cameo. Ryan handed Cooper his very own Dynasty jersey and welcomed him to the team. Thanks to all his hard work and his inner dragon, Cooper accomplished his dream. The end. And then it has some cool stuff about Dynasty, about the author, about the illustrator. This is great, dude. Yeah, I'm gonna need one for my son.
Yeah, dude, I got you, Matt. Well, there we go. Pretty cool. This is fun. Come join Cooper as he tries out for his favorite paintball team, Dynasty. During the tryout, Cooper faces a few challenges on and off the field. When the tryout isn't going well, he finds some help from a special dragon. Will his dream have come true of making the team, or will he run out of time? Yeah. That's pretty fun. Yeah, this is cool. Like it was fun working with Dan on this. And
how much did you pay him to make you the main character of the story?
Look at that. I think it's a spitting image.
Not a spitting image.
Look at this.
Okay, look. I've known Ryan for a long time. Maybe
a little
15
Botox,
years
huh?
ago. 15 years ago.
Look at that.
Maybe.
Looks just like me. Maddie, come on.
I mean, yes, for sure. Like again.
Hey, man.
Years ago.
This is my story, all right?
Okay, yeah, no, I appreciate it. You're going to immortalize you. Might as well immortalize you in in like the 21-year-old version of Ryan Greenspan. Yeah, no, for sure.
Well, cool, man. Thanks, Dan. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just saying thank you for having me on here. Appreciate it. Again,
absolutely.
check out next week. We got Go Sports Live going to be at the ICPL, and then I got some shows coming up. Podcasts, my History Story podcast will be dropping whenever I finish it. I got a lot of paintball work to do here. There's going to be a documentary about the European stuff that's going to be dropping here pretty soon in the run-up to Cup. And, I'm just going to have like a whole bunch of stuff coming at you guys, so it's going to be good.
Yeah, right on, Maddie. Well, as always, thanks a lot for coming in. Guys, I just posted the Dynasty Champions Club link right there. If you are in the SoCal area and you want to come play some paintball with us this weekend, SC Village, check it out. If you're in the Dynasty Paintball Club, you get a discount on entry there and entry out at Clowns vs. Zombies as well. I'm going to be doing a free clinic on Saturday out in Paintball Explosion in Chicago. Then it's WC weekends here, and then it's practice for World Cup. So really excited, and we'll see all of y'all next week on the show. Also, did spin the wheel. Good call. This is a perfect timing. You read the book, spun the wheel. The winner of an HK Army laser barrel kit is Mr. Jamie Taylor, mega member Jamie Taylor. If you guys would like to join the show, all of your subscriptions really help out to make this place more cluttered. So, upgrade audio. Make sure we got the sushi on deck and cold beers for Maddie next time he comes into town. So we really do appreciate all of the donations and all of the subscriptions. Jacob Solis also won a Gen X Global Sports Pack. So you're going to be getting a pod caddy and some other stuff. Also, Paintball 2 to Max, Brent Listovka, Greg Volkov, Chris Jocelyn, 85, and Edward Benedetto. All are winners. You guys are going to get some prizes. I'm going to be shipping those out. And you're right. Dr. Despair, here's an air horn.
I was going to say, can we get an air horn to finish?
Yeah, dude, it's hitting an A. And just in case, Maddie, if you haven't seen it, here's Alex to make you guys feel a little better about yourselves.
Oh, glizzy lips. That's when he got shot in the lips? Oh, bro. Poor Alex.
Oh, glizzy lips.
Yeah, no, I came out actually.